guys, welcome back to the YBF podcast, and we're back today with another episode. This time, hot topics. Woo woo! It's been a minute since we've done hot topics. So
it has.
We need to just get this popping. Oh, my lip gloss.
Listen, I don't know what Natasha has going on today. First, it was a slurp earlier with the water.
I just tried to like pop my lips, and it's so much lip gloss on that they got stuck. Okay. Can't do that today. Shout out to Colored Rain with them bomb lip glosses and a bomb matte lipsticks that I put a little gloss on. Shout out to you, Black-owned company. So I just have to say it.
You gotta shout it out. You gotta make it happen.
All right, Colored Rain. Okay. Anyways, today we have so many hot topics to talk about, and I brought James Terrell on with me again.
I'm back in the building. Thank you for the invite.
I mean, you know.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Now that you found the right podcast place.
I'm sorry, Natasha. Listen,
to do this,
I will go on record and say that I was late today. I went to the wrong location. It was my fault. I take full blame, and my apologies for that.
So if it seems like we're rushing through these hot topics, it's because we have cut the time because someone didn't read the email correctly.
Black people.
Anywho, so we'll just jump right in. Since we ain't got time.
We got time. So what's going on? What are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about everything. Okay, so first of all, Lizzo. We need to discuss what the hell is going on with her basically copyright cases, and people are very upset. Certain people are very upset with her, accusing her of stealing from them.
Yeah.
So here's a story. And we all know Lizzo. We all love Lizzo. I've loved Lizzo for a minute. Like, love. And of course, you know, more money, more problems. And when you start to rise to fame, and now she just like set a record for having like the #1 album. It
was
for the longest amount of time for a woman or something, or like some, you know, Billboard got 25 different ways to say somebody set a record.
Many.
It's ridiculous. So they gave her like she made history in somewhere, tied Iggy Azalea or something, or tied a record that Iggy Azalea made. And I guess it was like the longest running.
If I'm not mistaken, she surpassed that record.
Now she surpassed it.
Yes. And I think that's where the whole conversation or comment about T.I. and Iggy, all of that came from. So
yes. Okay. So, you know, they done gave her one of those superlatives that they just make up out of the blue, even though she deserves everything, but whatever. And so when you reach that certain type of status of getting, you know, first time this and longest running this and getting all the money, getting all the shows, getting all the accolades, getting all the publicity, people are going to start coming out the woodwork. And that's kind of what happened. Now, when I say out the woodwork, I don't mean that they don't have a valid point. I mean that it was like, well, this song been out for a good couple years. Like, where you been? I mean, like, you have a valid right to it, but damn, like, why are we just now saying
And why did you wait so long?
Right. And I do feel like you should have said it earlier, but whatever, we'll get to it. So, Truth Hurts is Lizzo's #1 song. Everyone knows it, and everyone knows that opening line, I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Now, we all done put that on a meme, all done put it on a caption on Instagram. We all like we're living that life over the last year probably. But what we didn't know is that Lizzo actually got that from a meme that she saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
But that meme also apparently came from a songwriter who's based in Britain. And it's actually a Black girl, which I didn't know until I was watching something.
She's cute.
I saw the picture. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And so she actually wrote that tweet back in 2017. That pretty much the exact thing. Maybe like the word "the" or something was different or something, but basically the exact same tweet. And Lizzo, that's secondhand, indirectly where Lizzo got it. So Lizzo admits that, yes, I saw a meme and that's where I got inspired to say that on a track. I don't think she knew it came from an actual songwriter.
I don't think it was anything malicious at all. I think it was something, like she said, she found it on social media. It's so much stuff that we find on social media, especially quotes, like, and to see the quote and be like, okay, well, I'm an artist, I want to add that quote to a song.
And see, you know what? Doing what I do, I've learned my lesson. I don't just find nothing and just repost it. No. I can't do it. I can't do that anymore. Unless it's someone like that sent us something that we know, like they're the publicist or the manager. And we still to this day got to ask, do we have permission to post?
Yeah.
Does the photographer know we're posting this? Is this yours? Do you own it? Because nothing is... Everybody owns something, whether it's an inherent copyright or flat out copyright that you actually paid for and trademarked and did all these things. So I've learned my lesson. I don't do this anymore. I'm kind of shocked that Lizzo just took it and ran with it, knowing that it could have been. I mean, somebody actually wrote it. So
but if you, one, being devil's advocate, you have to kind of think about it. Like, there's a lot of quotes that people post on social media. So you think it's just something
from somewhere.
It does. And now for me, it should have been some research or something done.
Yes. Like when you're at this point, like, why not? And you have a label behind you. You have all these things. You have all the resources. I've never understood why big ass artists don't utilize their resources.
And Google is so good. All you have to do is type in like
where
one
did this
letter.
come from?
And it would pop up.
Even Twitter, like it searches Twitter accounts from umpteen years ago. So that tweet would have come up because I don't think she had a private account. That's how people saw it. So it would have come up and you would have seen that. And you could have reached out and maybe just given her writing credit. Like, who?
That would have been great.
You know? But now apparently Lizzo has admitted that. And the girl, I'm going to pull up her name because it's like a @ that I can't really pronounce. She posted on Twitter, I'm really upset that you all meaning Lizzo and team, keep doing this despite me saying something. Now, I don't know the first time she said something, but it seems as though
this is not the first time.
It's not the first time, but it hasn't been like for 2 years that she's been saying it. And she said, why do you all keep acting like I don't exist? I understand that I don't have all the resources you all have, but I'm a songwriter. I wrote this. That's not, even if it was just in a tweet. I mean, now we're learning like Twitter, Instagram, all these things now also have inherent copyrights. Like it's not cool. Y'all keep ignoring me because you know I don't have the funds to fight it.
Or even a voice for it on a platform compared to what Lizzo's platform is.
Exactly. So
completely agree.
Lizzo actually wrote a tweet that was really like nice and responded about it. And she basically said she will be getting writing credit on the song, but she will not be giving credit to the two white men that butted into the conversation talking about, well, we actually wrote that with her and we didn't get writing credit. Sirs, how?
You would really? Two white men? You're going to sit down and say, okay, all right.
So basically, Lizzo filed a lawsuit against these two men. Their names are Justin Raisin and Jeremiah Raisin. I'm sorry, it's 3. And Justin Eves Rothman. And so she filed the suit last week in California. And she said she's seeking a judicial declaration that the Raisins and Rothman did not co-author Truth Hurts. And they have no right to co-own that work or to share in its profits. I'm really not sure why they think that. Now, we all know that when artists write, they have multiple people writing with them, whether it's everybody in one room or people in separate rooms or at different times. No, it's usually not just one person sitting there writing the whole entire album from start to finish 100%
Blue
solo.
Ivy got writing credits,
right.
I believe.
Right. Like, and Beyonce had a whole writers retreat, remember? Like in the Hamptons or whatever, and in Paris.
And Kanye did that as well.
Yeah, like people do that. Now, I don't know if they think because they just so happened to be in the room that day when Lizzo came up with it that they automatically get writing credit. But Lizzo says they weren't even in the damn room.
So the question is, has the artist who, give me her name again.
Oh, let me pull it up. Go ahead.
But has she said anything in a rebuttal to the guys?
No, I don't think she's even. No.
I'm sure Lizzo's going back with this lawsuit because I'm sure this artist is going to support Lizzo because if anything, after those guys get writing credit, that's less money for this artist.
That too. Well, they're trying to say that she plagiarized they said, this is exactly what they said in their initial claim that Lizzo responded to. After reaching out to Truth Hurts co-writer and co-producer Ricky Reed, who Lizzo does say was in the room at the time, and Lizzo's team about fixing it, whatever that means, we put the song in dispute in 2017 when it came out. We tried to sort this out quietly for the last 2 years, only asking for 5% each, but we're shut down every time. I shut you down too if you had nothing to do with it.
At all. 5% each. Really? Come on.
What is wrong with people? So Lizzo says they weren't even in the room. They had nothing to do with this. And y'all ain't getting shit. Let me pull up the name of homegirl. I'm going to just read her because I can't. And I'm also going to read exactly what Lizzo said to respond. Oh, God, I'm going to have to cut this out because it's taking too damn long. Always.
What's her name? Mina Linus? Mina Linus?
But I wanted to read her tweet. And I have it on our Instagram.
Her original tweet?
Coming up.
The original tweet?
Well, I had it in a post. I had everything.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Child, let me just pull it. What date is on it?
'Cause it's not 4 days ago. 4 days.
Let me just scroll. I include links and the links don't even work. I can't. $4 days ago. What's the date?
It doesn't have the date on it.
Oh my God. What is the first part of it? Like, what's the first picture up? Let me see.
I'm about to send it to you right now, Natasha. That one?
Oh, I think I got it. Yep, I got it. Okay. So let me read to you guys exactly who the person is that the songwriter, as well as Lizzo's responses that I feel like were very classy. So her name is Legendina on Twitter, and her name is it's at Mina Lioness. So one of those words, one of those names is her actual songwriter name. So here's what Lizzo responds saying. Hey y'all, as I've shared before, in 2017, while working on a demo, I saw a meme that resonated with me. A meme that made me feel like 100% that bitch. I sang that line in the demo, and I later used the line in Truth Hurts. I later learned that a tweet inspired the meme. The creator of the tweet is the person I am sharing my success with, not these men. Period. Thank you to everyone who has supported me in my song. She said the men who now claim a piece of Truth Hurts did not help me write no parts of this song. They had nothing to do with the line or how I chose to sing it. There was no one in the room when I wrote Truth Hurts except for me, Ricky Reed, and my tears. That song is my life and its words are my truth. So I don't even know where these men are coming from. It's very odd. I don't get it. But whatever. She got a #1 song, and it is what it is.
Right. It almost seems like it's just people jumping on the bandwagon to hop on Lizzo's fame and fortune.
Whatever. I'm glad that she went to court back on their asses to handle that. Also about Lizzo, I got a bone to pick with the world. So Lizzo the other day, like 2 days ago, posted a video. And she's in her underwear.
And I think the video was sexy. I'm going to say that. I thought it was hot. I mean, listen.
Let me find out.
I thought it was sexy. I mean, it wasn't explicit. I mean, it wasn't too much. That's a real ass right there. That was all real ass and thighs.
Y'all so used to these injected asses on stick figures. Y'all don't even know what an actual curvy, thick woman looks like. Like, stop calling people that are a size too thick. And I understand this is not body shaming skinny people, but this is the problem. And this is why I always say you have to watch the way you categorize things. Yeah. Because if you keep categorizing certain people as thick and curvy and la-da-da, yes, you can have some curves when you're a size 2, sure. But are you actually in the category of, do you click curvy when you go shopping online? Do you click the curvy section? No, because it usually starts at size 12 or 14. So that's what I mean by you have to stop categorizing people, just lumping everybody into one, because it messes up people's perception of what certain things are. And that's exactly what I think happened here. Lizzo posted a video in her underwear and a t-shirt, and it was like the bikini bottoms, like regular bottoms,
avocado underwear at that.
Yeah, it was like kind of like childish underwear, but cute, whatever.
Bunch of avocados.
And it wasn't a thong, it wasn't a G-string, it wasn't a boy short, it was an actual bikini cut. So her whole ass was covered as much as it could be covered in a bikini bottom when you are actually thick. Okay? Not thick, but I'm a size 2 and I just got a piece of meat on me. No. I'm not going to guess her size because that's rude, but she definitely clicks the curvy category when she goes on Fashion Nova, okay? She clicks on Fashion Nova curve.
Come through Fashion Nova.
I'm just saying, if we're going to, I have to, relate to the people.
There you go.
And when you on Saks, you click on the plus. When you on all these sites, I'm sure she clicks on the curvy or plus category, which is amazing because I do too. People lost their shit because she posted a video of herself making her ass clap and like sounding like a horn.
The same shit that we see
everybody that's a size 2 doing with the humongous ass, aka Black China.
The fake ass.
But if it's fake, I guess that's acceptable. So this is my gripe with this. I understand that you may or may not like women, period, showing their body parts on social media. I understand people may or may not like it. My whole thing is I don't give an F if you do or do not like it. That is the purpose of her personal media page. Yes, it's public. Yes, you have every ability to comment if you want to comment, but I really do feel like y'all, the ones that were commenting like, how dare you post this? This is disgusting. Don't you have more to offer as a Black woman? Wow. We don't have a right to do, we don't have the privilege to post things like that. Show something more. Why are you always showing your ass? We have more to offer. This is so disgusting and so crass and class.
I'm really shocked that a lot of people said that.
I'm not, because I notice these types of things. When you're not a size 2, the world does not revolve around you. So I see the way people are treated who are in the curvy category. And when I saw it, it was like, yeah, y'all have a right to your opinion. But my problem is y'all really think this in y'all real lives about every single woman on earth. Y'all really think there's like a deeper seated issue here. Y'all really think that, one, you can control what women do and don't do. I don't like that shit at all. I don't care if very rarely will I say that this girl shouldn't have posted this or whatever. It really has to be like a very serious situation. Like maybe if her kid was standing right there next to her in the picture and she basically was twerking in a G-string. Yeah. I've seen that. That I'll be like, okay. I just don't think it was necessary. But am I judging you as a human being? Like as a person, I might be judging your mothership a little bit. Like you're twerking in a G-string online for the public with your kid standing next to you and you're not a stripper.
But for the most part?
For the most part, it's like I don't look at people in that way even in my everyday life, because I know as a woman who is not the traditional standard of beauty how much that, and most women, 99% of women are not the traditional standard of beauty, if that makes sense. So I know how that affects little girls and women. Yeah. So I don't even think like that. It doesn't even come across in my head. And I damn sure wouldn't post it because I don't understand what that's doing. What is your purpose? Are you trying to say that she should only, I mean, maybe y'all haven't seen a Lizzo performance before, but she should only be walking around in a suit, like covered up 100% and then talking about I'm 100% that bitch?
Did Ashley Graham get the same response when she posted something?
Sometimes she does, but no one gets it worse than a curvy Black woman. Okay,
I was gonna say, do you think that this is worse? It's definitely worse. It's a bigger situation because
for sure,
wow,
for sure. And Ashley Graham has had her fair share of haters, for sure. I mean, she did a whole what is it called? I forgot what the name of it is, but she made a swimsuit line, and all of her campaigns were, of course, in bikinis and one pieces, and people had a problem. Like, how dare you be? I was like, what? She's wearing a swimsuit. What do you want her to do? It seems to be, if you're a woman of color, though, you're extra policed when it comes to your body, and don't let you be a woman of color with more than an A cup and more than a size 2 or 4. Then you need to go cover your body. I don't know if it's because of my personal experiences from the time I was little, I was little, so I wasn't even trying to show off my body. I actually want to cover it up. But there's certain things that you cannot cover. And I could wear head to toe. I'm wearing a turtleneck and pants right now. Like, I like to be fully covered because that just makes me feel better. Yes, it could be tight or whatever, but I like to cover up just for me. And when it's one of those days where I don't want to cover up, then I don't. But that's my prerogative. But I do know that a lot of that wanting to cover up comes from when I was little. And not just little, when I was like in grade school, in middle school. And when you start to come into your body, when you're 12 and 13, I developed really early and was basically a double D cup when I was 11 years old. And
Jesus.
10 or 11. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I was a C cup when I was 10 or 11 and then jumped to double D when definitely by the time I got to high school.
Jesus.
And it's one of those things where people, no matter what I wore, we wore school uniforms. So it's like, no matter what you wear, you always feel like it's your fault that you look a certain way. So you internalize that, and you're always trying to please everyone. You're always trying to not offend your existence. You're trying to make sure your existence doesn't offend.
Yeah.
I know that feeling, and maybe it was a trigger for me when I saw all these people saying those things when she literally is doing exactly what 99% of other people in this business do. However, they're applauded and like, oh, you look so cute, because it's acceptable when it's only little, and when it's a size 2, or when it's miniature, or when it's fake.
People are just selfish. For me, I feel like it's the energy that people put into different topics and conversations that have absolutely nothing to do with them.
Not at all.
At all. Like, people have to understand that you need to follow your own blueprint and allow other people to follow their own blueprint. So yeah, I don't know. I mean.
And I saw a lot of, I'm not going to say, oh, it was only women or only men. I saw both doing it, and I get very triggered when I see men doing it. Don't ever speak on a woman's body. No. I don't even like you complimenting women. Like, I'm tired of men. Sorry.
I can't, wait, what you mean? I can't leave a compliment?
I mean, do it. It's fine. But
I'm not trying to slide in DMs or nothing.
Y'all even be saying compliments wrong these days. So I don't know. But basically what I'm saying is, when it comes to the body, especially when it's authentic, and this is what she was born with, how dare you tell her, how dare you post this? We don't want to see this. But if you never said that to Black China, who she has every right to do the same thing, but if you don't say those things to women who are the more acceptable form of, or more acceptable size of beauty,
and what's natural
with added parts, how dare you say this to someone who was born with it? This is also my gripe, and I've said this before on the show, like with women and men, but women especially who do have plastic surgery. Child, have your plastic surgery. I really could care less. Where my care comes from is when you start to judge women who don't have plastic surgery, and you tell them, well, that's why you ugly. That's why you fat. That's why you this. That's why your boobs too flat. That's why you ain't got, that's why you saggy. That's why. But you hate when people talk about you not having, like the fact that you have injected ass, or a bazillion butt lift that you like to lie about, or your fake boobs that you like to lie about, or your veneers, or every other part that's fake on you. You hate that. You hate to see it. Yeah. But as soon as you have a problem with another woman, the first thing you snap on her about is something that she was born with. In her image. And so it just triggered me. As soon as we posted up, we reposted what Lizzo posted on our Instagram, the freaking comments, it took everything in me not to go in. And then one time I did just go in on somebody, because I was like, if you didn't post this on.
Oh, yeah, I noticed a comment.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, I was like, if you over here like equating her self-worth to what she just posted. If you didn't do all this on every pop star, white, Black, Hispanic, Nigerian,
everyone.
Bollywood, everybody, if you never posted that same exact judgment on their stuff, why are you here? Why are you holding Black women to a totally different standard?
Yeah.
I'm just here for fairness. If you hate it all, but don't hate it on certain people and love it on others, and judge those people. I don't like that shit.
Well, I'm a fan of Lizzo, and I am in support of you putting up those ass videos and making that noise.
She's just having fun. Like she wears her ass is out of literally her ass was
she
out
wears
on
a
the most recent award
leotard
show with the ass cut out.
Basically.
Like, I mean, what do y'all want from her? And I would say Lizzo don't care. Like, she chilling. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, as a human being, there's no way. Yes, you can have all the thickest skin in the world. At some point, though, yes, sometimes it does penetrate. And so that's what kind of worries me about the constant negativity of body shaming when it comes to her. There's a lot of body praise. I appreciate that, even though that can kind of, like I said, compliments can kind of be shady too. When you're like, oh my God, you're so confident. Why shouldn't she be confident? That is
shady as hell.
Yeah. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot to me, so I know it happens a lot to her. So that's what I mean. Oh, just stop commenting on people because your compliments are shady too.
I mean, for me, being a male and, I cheered at Southern. So I actually was part of cheerleading squad, like even in high school. And I've noticed that in a number of situations, the attire that they would want for the black cheerleaders was totally different because... I mean, because
they didn't want their ass out. They didn't want. It was
they were
too
built
much.
differently. The ass was much bigger, so they had to like get longer shorts rather than the actual cheer shorts at the.
So you're basically policing her authentic body, and that I don't like that. I don't like it. Oh well, if her ass is out and it's too much, and y'all just need to deal.
Get it in
because y'all out here buying it. Y'all buying it instead. It's too much on her, but you want to buy it. Okay, let's move on because we're so behind. I can't. I just had to get that off my chest.
And we love Lizzo over here. We need Lizzo on the podcast.
Just, when it comes to body positivity and body image, I just get very triggered. And I've been holding my tongue for 15 years now. Mm-hmm. Y'all about to get this work every single time from this point on.
With this ruby red lipstick that you got on.
It ain't ruby red. It's dark. It's like black almost.
I mean, it is dark, but... Oh, my God. Excuse me if I don't know any...
I can't.
Colors of lipstick and stuff.
It's Colored Rain something. I'll give y'all won't even know. I might do a selfie. We have a selfie. Samsung gave us a selfie stand. Yeah. All right. So the ring light. Sorry.
Shout out to Samsung.
So let's talk about. Did you watch Dolomite yet?
Listen.
Did you watch it?
I watched it last night.
It was so good.
Loved it.
So they invited us to. I'm gonna get your take in a minute, but they invited YBF to, and they meaning Netflix, sorry, invited us to the advanced screening like 2-3 weeks ago here in New York at this fabulous, like basically they rented out an old movie theater.
Oh, wow.
And turned it into Netflix Dolomite. And it was so fun. The after party was bomb at Chinese Tuxedo where I had my birthday party actually 2 years ago. And I mean, it was just...
She got money.
No. It was so fun. Like the movie, I'm never like a big blaxploitation watcher, even though, I mean, if you grew up in a black household, you've seen one or two, but I've never been one to go seek it out as an adult or even when I was, just, growing up or whatever. I never sought it out. It was really before my time when it was just always out there. But I mean, it was definitely also still people were watching it when I was growing up in the 80s too. So I never was that girl. Like, let me go look for Dolomite and go find it and go watch it.
So you never saw Dolomite?
I saw it when I was really young because people in my family, I have 5 sisters, mother, father, like everybody, somebody was watching something. Even though we didn't have cable back then. So it was like, if it came on network TV, then it came on, or you rented it from Blockbuster.
I about to say Dolomite, I think at that time you only could probably get it on VHS or something.
Yeah, we would have it at Blockbuster or something like that, or record it if it happened to come on TV.
Good old
like
Blockbuster.
Record it on VCR and watch it later, or do the bootleg. So I've seen it when I was really little. I don't recall any of it. So watching this movie was twofold. It was one, just like, wow, y'all was really like buying tickets to go see this?
$10 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But then again, everything ain't for everybody. It reminded me of the Tyler Perry effect.
Okay.
Like everybody cannot get down with Tyler Perry, but he's still making hand over fist money because he appeals to a certain audience.
Yeah.
Same thing with Dolomite. He appealed to a certain audience. And then the second part was the business aspect. It reminded me so much of Master P. It was not even funny.
It was a building, just this man would not let anyone stop him. See, I remember Dolomite, and I'm going to give you my backstory of how I've seen Dolomite. So on a cheerleading squad in college at Southern University, whenever we would take our first trip, our first away game, our cheerleading coach would play Dolomite every single year. And that was my first time seeing it my sophomore year in college, and I fell in love with Dolomite. It's a great movie. But you definitely have to see the original movie for me. Even if you said before or after, but the fact that Eddie Murphy kind of dug into the personal side, because I didn't know the personal side of what went on, of how he got to this movie. I just thought it was just a shitty shot movie.
Right.
And the movie
it
really, really is, but it was a movie that he really released and made money off of.
Independently. Well, independently meaning he had investors that were shady and that he had to keep convincing to give him money, and then would immediately pay them back. Like the first thing he did, he would give them a check for $30,000 because that's what they invested in, and they were shocked every single time. Yeah. The one time where he didn't pay it back immediately was his last, the main movie that we just saw, and the finale of this movie that's out now. So it was like, I guess, his first big movie.
Probably so. Yeah.
So that was the first time he couldn't pay it back immediately because it took way more money than he thought. They had a lot of setbacks.
It's a whole lot.
People were being shady when it came to where they couldn't shoot. They didn't have money for electricity, so they had to hijack. They basically had to steal and rig up some electricity from other places. And then, like, people were really working off of zero money, just off the hope of this will turn into something, and I know I'll get paid, whether it's monetarily or just off of fulfilling a passion for somebody else. I'll get paid later.
Love it.
And all these people really helped him. They went to who's from Key and Peele, Michael Keegan's character. Where was he at where he found him? He was the guy that was he was the one that knew how to do, I think he was on Broadway. It
or
looked
was he in
they
a
were
movie
like a play or something? Basically, he was the guy that Michael Keegan plays a man that knew the industry because he had worked in the industry.
And he kind of had a name as well.
Yeah,
and
he
knew
was
some
black,
people.
and so it was kind of a big deal that a black man knew the real side of the industry, and he was working in it. Yeah. So when Eddie Murphy's character Dolomite went to a play or something that he saw of him, he was like, he needs to work for me. So the fact that he could get this man who had a real job with real checks to come work with him with nana piece of money to do it was amazing to me. And then he got other people. He got like people from the film school, like up and coming white boys that didn't know
And
anything.
Wesley Snipes, that's how Wesley Snipes was
Snipes'
added
character. He was a real actor.
Listen, all throughout the movie, all I could think about was Wesley Snipes' character from Tu Wong Fu. I'm sorry. That's all I could think about every time.
Was he supposed to be on drugs in this movie? Because they were so shady with that. They had him sniffing and shaking and oh my God. So he's an actor in Hollywood, his character. And so they're like, we need a real actor, somebody who really knows what they're doing. But they made him a director.
And his biggest role was a elevator operator.
Right, but you couldn't tell him nothing because he was black and in the movie funny.
At all.
And so just how Dolomite had to manage people, I can totally relate to that. Trying to barter, trying to get people to buy into your vision, not your audience. I'm talking about mainstream. And mainstream, not mainstream Hollywood, meaning you're trying to get up in 3,000 theaters versus only 1,000. I'm saying the mainstream, meaning people who can give you money, investors, just like everybody else gets.
Yep.
It's almost impossible for you to get that investment money. And also just the respect, just the fact that you exist. They don't even like to acknowledge him even being there.
No.
So that last scene like had me in tears when they pulled up into the movie.
It was great.
Theater. He didn't think anybody was going to go.
They're all nervous. Everyone was nervous. It's a good movie. I'm happy. I'm happy it happened. It needed to happen. Yeah. I think our generation would have gotten lost with who Dolomite was and the story behind it.
I had no idea about that particular story. It really made me be like, damn, one, we're not anybody who's a business owner now, black business owner, and you feel like you just can't keep going. Like you ain't never going to win because the system is rigged against you. One, yes, it is rigged against you. And two, Dolomite shows you so what? Yeah. Like still work within it.
I remember that one scene, a guy, one of the producers says something about, do you think you're going to sell out with these 5 blocks that you have?
Yeah.
And he said, well, these same 5 blocks, they're in every other state and every other city. So
I love that. I love that. There's an MLK on every street in every city.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just so real. Like, you don't have to appeal to every single person on earth to be successful or to be. He probably appealed to way more than people than some of these Oscar winner, performances. Sometimes it's just about you putting the value on your audience, and whether or not other people see that value is not your problem. It's not your thing. All you have to do, and it's a tricky battle because you still gotta convince people of shit so you can get their money. But at the same time, you can't let it affect you to the point where you stop.
You got to keep going. It's always a saying that people tell me, like, you can't ever just stop because your dream may be also connected to someone else's dream. And you just got to keep pushing, got to keep going.
It like had me in tears. And the actress that was basically Eddie Murphy's opposite,
Queen Bee.
Yes.
Love
oh my
her.
God, she is hilarious and just amazing job. I think there's going to be definitely some nominations in their future, from Eddie to her to I'm going to pull up her name because I hate not having people's names.
She is so right on with Queen Bee. If you ever see, once you get a chance to see the original Dolomite, like Queen Bee, yeah, she was a bad mother in that movie.
And I love that how he found her was she was just fighting with her man, you know, off to the side at the comedy club he was about to perform at, and he noticed it. And so this is what I always say about the power of an advocate. When they see something, especially if you're a man, which he was a black man, so he probably didn't even realize, Rudy Ray probably didn't even realize the type of privilege he had
at that time,
because he probably was like, damn, I'm over here trying to scrap for just the basic respect myself, but you're still a man.
Yeah.
So the fact that he could just see her and saw like how the potential of how funny she could be, just because she was fighting with her husband and she didn't think she was beautiful, she flat out said, well, I'm not beautiful, what you want to talk to me for?
She's like, I'm not beautiful, I'm not a girl. So
yeah, and it like kind of broke my heart, and he was like, you know what, I think so, and I think that you need to open for me. That's how, crazy enough, a lot of women back then did get put on when they were female comedians and stuff like that. That's how they did get put on, being able to open for men. And now look at her, like she became his opposite and
she's
was killing it behind the scenes as well. And I mean, I just loved it all. Her name is Davine Joy Randolph.
She's actually also the same person that's in my favorite GIF that I send all the time. She's the same person where she's like, oh, okay. And she puts the phone down and just turns her head and sits back. Yeah.
So congrats to them. That this is definitely a great role for Eddie. I think he said recently that him returning to stand-up kind of inspired him to take on this role.
I'm excited about seeing him.
I know. He's going to do SNL at the end of the year. I cannot wait.
That's really good.
It'll be his first time return, which I had no idea. It's his first time returning to SNL.
And I think recently just spoke about what characters he's going to bring back to SNL.
Which ones?
I don't remember. Hopefully it's going to be I think it's only a few characters he plans to bring back.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
So yes, congrats to the whole, like they had all the black people up in there. Titus Burgess had me on the floor.
Was it me or was Titus' hair growing every single scene? I feel like he started off with this fade and then he got a little mini bush and it was a bush and it was a Little Richard kind of curl situation that he had. And I love the fact that they allowed him to play gay, like to be a gay character in the movie. And Titus, it wasn't frowned down upon or anything.
Did you watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes, hell yes. Hell
I love Titus so much. Oh my God. So everybody did amazing. I didn't know that. I mean, I know Wesley can be funny, but this was fun tea.
Mike Epps did a great job.
Mike Epps killed it. I mean, of course, Eddie killed it.
Lunell.
She was his aunt.
His auntie, yeah.
And she had to invest in him too. And I don't know where she got her money. They talked about that.
From a lawsuit.
Oh, that's right.
I think from an accident or something.
And she's like, well, it's my money. And he was like, you got it from a lawsuit.
All I got is $250. That's all I need.
And she gave it to them all. And look what happened. Everybody, like all the bigwig comedians were in it. And it just was like good. It was really good.
Did I miss Leslie Jones in it? I don't know why I thought she was going to.
Jones.
I thought she was going to be in it.
No.
I don't know why I thought she was in that movie.
I definitely didn't see her up in there unless I just missed it too.
Oh, okay.
But speaking of comedians, Dave Chappelle was awarded the Mark Twain Award of Humor or Humor Award over the weekend, which is basically the most prestigious award that a comedian can get.
Nice.
And so congrats to him.
Well deserved.
Black excellence.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
And Eddie Murphy was there, and
Tiffany
Michael
was there.
Keegan, Tiffany Haddish, Chris Rock, all the Chrisish. a lot of people were there, and it just seemed like such a fun situation. They did a pop-up comedy show at a comedy club in DC the night before, and apparently it was being taped. That's what I'm hearing. So we probably will get, Dave Chappelle got 25 umpteen Netflix specials, so maybe this will be another one.
It would be great if it was at least like maybe a few of these comedians on there.
Well, it looks like all of them, not all, but it looks like multiple of them got up and did stuff.
Okay.
Not just Dave, but yeah.
I'm with it.
We posted a video on Instagram of them afterwards. Cypher Sounds was, I don't even know why, but Cypher Sounds was there and like took video, and Tiffany was cutting up. So there's that. Okay. I feel like this is going to annoy me again.
What's about to annoy you? What is it? Who is it?
The Basketball Wives drama. I know. I just finally watched. I put it off because they were irritating me in the first installment of that reunion. I just watched the next half yesterday.
What do you think? Come on, give me your views. Come on, let me know what you think.
Once again, I was triggered.
Because I love me some Basketball Wives. I'm a fan of Shawnee. So
Shawnee has disappointed me this season.
Has she?
I'm sorry. And this has totally triggered me, and I could just be triggered. So maybe it's me. Maybe everybody else sees this in a totally different way. But even watching that reunion and seeing the audience's reaction to what OG was saying and them basically dismissing everything she said pissed me off. And everybody that kept showing was either a light-skinned woman or a white woman dismissing what she was saying. And it irked me because, to be honest, what OG is saying, I don't think she's wrong. Do I think the way she's delivering it is a little over the top and abrasive? Yeah, for sure. And that's what's making people not want to listen to her. But do I think she's wrong? No, she's exactly right. There is a double standard. We can see it plain and clear. And it was frustrating to watch because it was happening in real time.
So do you think do you think it ultimately came down to?
Here's the thing with colorism. And this is what I knew you were going to ask me this question. And that's what I was thinking about last night. Do I think that Evelyn, Shawnee, all of them woke up one morning and said, let's hate OG because she's dark skinned? No. And that's actually not how colorism works.
Okay.
Colorism, like all isms, are almost always indirect and covert, not necessarily overt. So what that means is there's usually especially in 2019 where everybody's at least semi-woke. So you're not gonna say and do stuff that's obviously colorist or obviously racist. There are things that are inherently, like an inherent bias, though, that shows itself. And that's usually when colorism happens, is that inherent bias. So what I noticed is I don't think that Evelyn just wakes up saying, I hate all people that are dark. I don't think that's the case. Do I think that there's an inherent bias that she might not even realize she has? Most people don't. Like, it's a kind of a subconscious thing. Whereas if someone that is dark skinned looks a certain way, or even not just dark skinned, but from a different country, or, owns up to being very, like OG is very clear about, I'm Nigerian, I'm this, I'm that. And her beautiful features are what they are. It's not necessarily like a typical African-American woman walking into a room. OG makes it very known. I'm Nigerian. I'm this. I love every part of my body. I love every part of my face, all of my features. And so it is slightly different than a girl that's just African-American walking into a room. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, but for me, that just comes off as abrasive. Like,
for her to say that?
Or just, I mean, even just her energy at times, just watching it, it was strong. And for me, I don't.
But a lot of them have strong personalities like that.
I think a lot of them do, but I believe that for me, OG was a lot at times, and
but a lot of them are.
A lot of them are, but I don't know if I want to say this on a podcast.
Go ahead and say it.
So for me, this situation with OG and Shawnee kind of reminds me of two women that we know on a show.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Okay.
On a network show. HBO that are kind of so I think with that particular situation, or with both situations, it comes down to a branding situation. I feel like Shawnee may have stepped back and said we may have to take her off because just her image is not correct or right, or maybe just a little too abrasive.
Kind of problem with that is it was cut and dry that you all are saying that to OG, and I understand why you would say that, but if you're going to say that to her, how are you not saying it to Evelyn, who they just showed in that same episode trying to beat up on 3 different occasions, 3 times, 3 people, and also connecting on that, like literally throwing a drink at someone, throwing it on them, hopping on tables twice to get to someone, cursing them out, standing over them, chasing someone down with a stick in your hand.
See, but I think Evelyn's one of those girls that we all know she ain't about to.
How do we not? She literally has put hands on people on this show before. OG never did. So I didn't understand why, if you're going to say that OG comes off abrasive, but she's never done anything to anyone, how can you not say that to Evelyn when they're sitting there showing at the reunion the 3 different occasions just this season alone, that Evelyn was actually abrasive, was aggressive. Not only that, Malaysia picking up a table and throwing it at Jennifer's situation. Head.
That was. I mean,
OG
she
didn't
wasn't
do
going to
any
get
of
it. I mean, and I also believe that some of the things that she did throughout this season kind of affected her moving forward as well. OG. Shawnee is really big on family, huge on family. So when
she was wrong for what she said.
She was pissed off
for sure.
Like Shawnee was really pissed off, and that was strike. I think that was a big strike for Shawnee.
Oh, for sure.
And then also with this Chad situation with
no, that was all Evelyn's fault, and this is why I would never.
No, I'm not blaming. I'm not saying it's OG's fault. I just feel like the way that she went about it.
The way who went about it?
Just, I mean, you came with the text messages.
No, Evelyn came with the text messages first.
Evelyn came with it too.
Chad. So what? Evelyn reached out to Chad first,
but she
didn't believe her.
But OG said something first, if I'm not mistaken.
She did. She said it in passing. She did not even in passing. She said it as a dig.
Yeah,
Evelyn's done that in the past too.
Yeah, and if someone went and got receipts on it, they wouldn't be at fault for getting those receipts. So Evelyn went to go get receipts, but I mean, think about it.
And she got receipts to prove her receipts wrong, and Evelyn looked stupid.
And by the way, OG, you said that she showed a bunch of text messages, quote unquote. You know, you can go back and delete text messages on messages on Instagram and still save them. So
she had the actual text messages, but the thing about it is, I don't even think she wasn't saying that she didn't try to talk back to Chad at the time. She was saying, no, Chad actually came at me first. Chad deleted the DMs that he was giving to Evelyn as receipts. Chad did that.
But isn't it kind of shady as a woman to even allow it to happen in a DM? Like,
I don't think that she knew. I don't want to say what she did.
Everyone knew that Chad and Evelyn were together.
You know, I don't know, because it was before they got engaged, but also while they were engaged. So she might not have known before they got engaged, because she was an athlete. She might not have been paying attention to pop culture. I don't know. But when they got engaged, I'm pretty sure she knew then. Either way, I mean, I highly doubt OG's one and only chick that he reached out to while he was messing with Evelyn. So I think that regardless of if she's wrong for talking to a man, whatever, that is engaged or with someone, Evelyn, you did that because you could not understand or fathom that your man could want somebody like OG. That's why you did what you did.
Oh, no.
That's exactly why she did that. And that's what I mean by that inherent bias. I don't like it. It came off very catty and both of them were catty. But the reason for, because y'all were fighting over something totally different. I don't even think that the Chad thing need to happen, but the looks started to be talked about. And that's why OG said, well, your man liked it. But like I say, certain girls with certain enhancements love coming after women without them. They love doing that, and they can't handle it when a girl pops back on them about that.
But correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll go on record of asking this, but isn't that something within like the Dominican and Puerto Rican culture when it comes, they have that bias of,
I don't know,
lighter skin and dark eye?
I think every culture has a colorism issue. Every single one. Asians, blacks, everybody. There's colorism, Indian people. And when I say Indian, I'm talking about actually from India. Colorism is a global issue. No matter what your culture is, there's always an issue of the lighter versus the darker in your culture. And Indian people, some people, I don't even want to talk about that, but I'm trying to determine or talk about the differences between the Asian and Indian communities as well. Sometimes it overlaps, just due to due to certain things, and geography and things like that. But there's a really big issue there when it comes to colorism and that overlapping culture situation. I don't think it's just Latinos. I don't think it's just black people. I think it's global.
Since we're talking about basketball wise, I have a quick question. Have you noticed that Susie and Royce's name has not left off of the credits for?
It hasn't?
If you go to if you go and watch Basketball Wives and you want to pull it up on demand, Susie's name is still there. It's like original cast. I wonder if they have some type of contract or something with
I don't know, but Royce has a new man. Did you see him?
I did. And
he a doctor. I said, you better get it, Royce.
Is she still on a cease and desist? Is she allowed to mention?
Talk about Dwight, who now is like trying to get married or whatever with like a 20-year-old.
This whole image of Dwight.
Disgusting. But yeah, so as for Basketball Wives, I do think there's a colorism issue, but not blatant. I think it's more of an inherent situation. I do think that OG gets treated differently because of not just how she looks, but because of who she is.
She's a strong presence.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes when you do have a darker complexion and do have certain features, you automatically are said that you have a stronger presence. Even if you never opened your mouth, people tend to feel like, oh, she just feels very abrasive just about how you look.
What if she changed her wigs? You think?
You don't stop about these wigs. And I thought the whole toe thing was it was kind of funny, but then it was also really petty and disgusting. I
mean, Evelyn said something about about Tammy just a few weeks
that was gross
earlier.
Too.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like women with enhancements talking about women who don't have them, because y'all don't like to be talked about yourself. So you over here calling Tammy skinny and calling Tammy all the body shaming Tammy when you have almost every body part on you is fake. Now, if Tammy would have come back and said that to you, you would have been trying to fight her. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. This is the issue that I'm talking about. But heaven forbid somebody defends themselves to Evelyn.
But it's usually people that don't have anything to come back with that go straight for your body image or something.
Or people that have their own body image issues. And that's the one thing you keep seeing in other people. And that's not her fault. Like, why do you keep doing that? And do I think Evelyn's just a horrible, ridiculous person? No. I mean, I've heard things, but no, I don't think that. But do I think that there is an inherent bias, not just from Evelyn, but from catty people in general and from people in general? Yeah, I do. There was no reason why OG need to be in a separate damn room.
It wasn't. That was gross. Now that was bullshit. That was trash.
That was gross. I wasn't here for it.
That was disrespectful.
It was very disrespectful.
I mean, if you think about it, like you as a black woman or a black woman on a panel are getting on national television and saying that you do not feel comfortable with another black woman on the same set
who never ever tried to fight you,
put her into a room, like
just because she's threatened, because she threatened you because you all were threatening her. Y'all don't like when people do it better than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they constantly came for OG, but the moment OG pops back harder, now she's a threat to my life. You sound like a white woman.
I think that's why Tammy is not on the show as much anymore, because Tammy was the one person that would stay on the show and someone could say something to her and she would hold her own up. Yep. Completely.
And she's done with it because she kept being made out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she need to be done with it. I think she's definitely beyond it and done, and she needs to move on, and she has, and she's successful, and I love it. But I was disappointed in Shawnee not checking her best friend Evelyn, especially when she chased down Cece, who ain't did nothing to nobody other than be messy, like all y'all are on this show.
All of them.
And so I didn't understand why we need to bring it to an aggressive, violent place, and you said nothing. But the moment that OG opens her mouth, she's abrasive and scary, and you're scared for your life. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like it. And they do the same thing with Jen, and Jen ain't never even raised a hand to none of them.
Jen will not raise a hand to any of them.
It's just, to me, yeah, there is. And yes, the one from New Orleans, what's her name? Kristen. Yes, she's brown skin. I understand Malaysia is sometimes brown skin. Like, sometimes brown skin.
And
I get that it's like, but again, this is what colorism is. Like I said, it's not blatant. It's not obvious. It's not overt. It's not like a blanket situation. Mm-hmm. There are going to be some times where some brown people are not going to be discriminated against. I mean, and it might be because then it's a socioeconomic situation. Yeah. They feel like Kristen is more in their socioeconomic class, so she has escaped the colorism situation. You know what I mean? So there's other variables there.
Has there been anyone else on the show of a darker tone besides Royce?
Yeah, Roy. All the people they kicked off. Yeah.
Wow.
And this is what the argument was when this first started happening to OG. People were like, "Y'all always get rid of the dark skinned people." Wow. Mika, you remember Mika Claxton? She was on there.
I don't remember Mika.
Mika was married to a basketball player. I can't remember his name.
I mean, old girl was on there also, but she got she was light skinned.
Who?
The DJ from Houston.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and also,
but again, it was a socioeconomic thing because they never thought she was on their level. No. They always look down on her. So that's what I mean. Like, and same thing with racism. Just because you have a black friend who probably is just as rich as you, mm-hmm. and does not mean that you're not a racist.
Yeah.
Because if you treat other black people like shit, like, you know, like this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that for some reason, women of color, like, y'all should know when people call you or say there's a colorism issue,
it's something serious.
You know that it's more than just, I don't hate all brown people. Mm-hmm. You would never say that when a white person says I'm not racist because I have a black friend, you look at them sideways. So it's the same exact thing, you know? Shawnee did a follow-up interview.
I don't think Mark Lamont should have been the one that was having that interview. Mark, I love you. Look, bro, I respect you. I think you're great, but yeah, I don't think
frat brother.
I don't think Mark should be on. I don't think Mark should be hosting the basketball wives reunion. I've never understood
why he did, but hey, I mean, a check is a check. If that's all you here for, cool. I don't like that Mark went on Twitter talking about, because people were coming for him for telling OG about staying in the room and la-da-da-da-da, and like, please don't leave, but just go in the other room. It seemed like he was trying to convince her to just deal with it, and he was like, that's not what happened. You all didn't see everything. I agreed with OG. I'm like, but you never told her that.
Right.
You never said that. You never stuck up for her.
I wonder if it was something the producers told him to do.
I'm sure. He don't even know who OG is. Of course, that's what they told him to do.
That was my first question. Does he even watch Basketball Wives?
Probably not. You know, a check is a check when it comes to moderators a lot of times. But yeah, so I was a little disappointed with Shawnee not keeping it 100% real across the board, mm-hmm. which she actually usually does, but this time it felt very biased and cliquish, which also happens a lot. I guess she ain't in a circle, whatever. Phoebe, girl.
Little slim Phoebe. I like Phoebe.
I didn't like the body shaming thing, like saying she's on crack and that's why she's skinny. Again, mm-hmm. I will never.
But it was Jackie that said that. And you know, Jackie is just petty for no reason.
I know.
No reason at all.
But Phoebe still was weird. I don't know. This is actually the first season I've watched Basketball Wives after a couple seasons, because they just get too ridiculously petty. It's like, y'all don't have nothing else to do.
And there's nothing. I haven't seen anything. What was positive this season?
Well, it's supposed to be Jen's cancer event, you know, representing for her mother that just passed away, but that turned into shit.
With Jackie country ass getting there cussing people out.
Phoebe, come out here. Come, you want to fight? Come out. Come see me.
But the worst part was when she counted down from 20, and I'm thinking she's going to walk into the party, but she walks away from the party when she gets to 0. Jackie, you too old for this. The whole
season was just petty as hell, and I was like, why did I do this? Why did I do this to myself? It's over and done now, though.
That's why I like Married to Medicine.
Okay, I haven't watched last night's episode, but they've gotten more petty than usual, too.
Heavenly is petty as hell.
They've definitely gotten way more petty.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. We had Mariah on the podcast a few weeks ago, and she's absolutely lovely. I think they are treating her. That episode when they were in, what were they, Savannah or Charlotte?
Savannah.
Savannah. Is it Savannah?
It was. They were in Savannah, in Georgia.
Oh, okay. I thought it was somewhere else. But she just looked broken. Like, she was crying. She was I had never seen her cry that hard.
I've never seen her cry
when
before
she went back to her room.
Never seen her cry before.
They are doing something to her. She done lost weight. She looks amazing, but I'm like, I think that she's just stressed.
I mean, for me, people are going to say so much about you.
Yeah.
People are going to say a million things about you. I feel like if Mariah just let the topic go, it's just going to disappear. We believe you.
I kind of thought that, but I don't know.
She's the one that brought it back up.
Yeah, but also I think for the show, it seems like that for us, but maybe in her real life, it was still stirring because she has small kids and they were in school and being bullied over this. I mean, first of all, accusing someone of doing drugs is illegal. Like, that's a defamation. That qualifies as defamation, especially if it hurts their business or hurts their, way of working.
So if that's the case, why hasn't Mariah tried to? Now,
I asked her that on the podcast. She said that that's when she said, I don't want to put more light on it. I know. That's what she said. I don't want to extend it even more than needs to be extended.
Because last night's episode.
Oh, it happened again?
She talked about it again.
Oh, Lord.
She talked about it at dinner during Ramadan, I believe.
Oh.
And it was a lot of Aiden's family, I believe, that were there. So
who she just got cool with again.
She started the conversation about that. So, yeah.
I don't know. Married to Medicine's interesting. When Jocelyn showed up, I said, oh, we've taken a turn.
A hot ass mess. How did she get on that show?
No clue.
Well, she does have a new show coming out.
Also, let's talk about okay. So I wanted to introduce a new segment, and we're just going to throw it in there now. Actually, no. We're going to throw it in after we get through Hot Topics.
Okay.
We have several new segments I'm introducing, but we're going to kick off one of those today.
Yeah.
Okay. So T.I. and Tiny had a conversation recently on his Expeditiously podcast, and it was very T.I. and Tiny. I don't understand half of what was said. There's no subtitles. I don't know.
That Atlanta accent.
But from what I gathered, T.I., how do I even say this? To me, it sparked another debate about struggle love. And T.I. basically, was like, well, why are you with me, or why do you love me, and what are we doing because they basically got divorced and now they're back together.
Right.
I don't know if they ever really went through.
I don't think they actually.
They definitely filed papers
because there'll be a waste of money.
Well, that's what Nene and Greg did, but they definitely filed papers, I believe, or at least separation. And then Tiny brought up, well, the way I was raised, and and she's talking about the rumors of how T.I. treats her and what she's going through as a wife and why they got back together, them breaking up, So she says, well, when I was growing up, because, she's starting to escape as a teenager, basically.
Yeah, they were really young.
It was Candy Burris's mother, Mama Joyce, who told me that I need to marry for security and not for love. I said, I mean, I 100% agree. However, of course, T.I. wasn't trying to have it, but I agree. And I think that people misunderstand. I don't think it should be not for love.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be in addition to.
Agreed.
And I think a lot of people were turned off by the whole, so you basically a gold digger if you don't love him. Yeah, I mean, that does technically make you a gold digger if there's zero love at all.
But she actually loves him.
Right, she does. And also, even if you did, men marry for the most superficial reasons on earth and nobody judges them. So whatever. I do think that this needs to be taught more to girls and women. It's something, if I have a daughter, I am most definitely teaching to her that the ability to have security. And that does not mean that a man solely takes care of you. It means that if something happened to you where you couldn't take care of yourself, could he handle that? And could he be a husband? Because we all know, I'm always going to teach my children, be able to take care of yourself. Like, that's part of being an adult and a human being.
Will you also tell your son to
do what?
To make sure that you, in addition to love, that you also marry for security as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that you should. You need to marry for what makes you secure. Now, if that's the money aspect, cool. If that's the, emotional security aspect, cool. There has to be a benefit to you in order to get married. For women, especially even just 20 years ago, but definitely 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, monetary benefit was the main benefit because, one, women weren't allowed to work back then. So what other reason would there? I mean, that is why you would need to get married. And two, even to this day, while of course women are allowed to work, quote unquote, allowed, whatever.
Not quote unquote.
I mean, isn't that sad that we have to like say, well, now we're allowed to work like in 2019, but that's real because we were not allowed at one point. But now that women do work, we're still not getting paid the same amount of money that men are getting paid for the same jobs. And it's still harder for us to advance in our jobs for doing the same job. So there still is an unequal playing field. So I still think that a monetary benefit is still helpful for a woman. Now, whether or not you're marrying another woman or a man, I still think it's helpful to make sure that you marry someone that if you cannot, for whatever reason, you lose your job, you can't work, or you need to take off because you're having kids or whatever, can he hold it down or she hold it down for you?
Yeah.
And that's it. It is what it is, like, and I hate when people keep pushing, especially Black women, into these relationships that they benefit nothing from. And not just not benefit from, but have to put up with the cheating, the lying, the putting their health at risk. Because when you out here screwing everybody and their grandma, and we all know that you're not wearing a condom every time because there's so many side babies, you're putting my health at risk. I'm doing all this risk and getting what if you have no security financially or emotionally or anything? You've given me no security. So what? Why are we married?
It's almost like my granny she says this to all of the young females in my family: don't beg dick to be your daddy.
Please don't. Please don't. And I'm not saying don't love. I don't believe in being in a loveless marriage either. Like, why?
It's a waste of time.
Like, go make your, if that's the case, then just go make your own money. Just focus on yourself 100%. But if you actually want love too, please do not get it twisted and put love so far above everything else that you need that you now put yourself at a disadvantage in life. Like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it?
Right.
Like, I think love is a basis, and love, you need it, but that ain't all you need.
It's hard out here.
You need security. You need somebody that's not going to hinder you in life.
Yeah.
It's
nothing worse than getting in a relationship with someone and having to carry their bags.
Yep. And
yours too. And
a lot of women these days are doing that just to say they have
a man. A lot of men are doing it as well.
Nobody told them. You're the one that proposed. Nobody asked you to propose.
I didn't propose.
I'm saying men. I mean, unless a woman proposed to you, which very rarely happens. I guess it happens, but I'm talking about the overall gist of how this usually works. I mean, you didn't have to propose. Nobody held a gun to your head.
He proposed, took that Jordan off before he got down on that one knee.
Anyway, people were coming for Tiny hard because, and also remember when Tiny first met T.I., she was the breadwinner. So
she was.
There's that too. So I don't really know what she's talking about because it's like, girl, you did not marry him for security unless you saw potential. I don't believe in marrying for potential either.
Really?
If we're 16, sure.
I mean,
at 30, in your mid 30s,
I mean, but there's different. I mean, when I think of potential of marrying, like, I would marry someone that I potentially see
at this age, at this big age.
Yeah, it depends on the level of potential. Again, if it's someone just starting out in their career and I'm like, oh yeah, I see that you can possibly do X, Y, and Z, then that's a no for me.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
But if it's a later, like they've actually done some stuff.
Well, you're trying to make the president of the company. Oh, that's different. No, I'm talking about just even potential to be able to take care of yourself and us.
Oh no.
You would be surprised how many women are like, I mean, I don't have no job right now, but I mean, he is really trying really hard and there's a lot of potential there. Girl.
Listen.
We are at a big age.
I'm good.
Let's not.
I'm good.
Let him do that. And then come back to you. Let him prove it. Like if we were 16, 18 years old, yeah, I get it, but we're not. So I don't understand why people get so mad, particularly at Black women for wanting this. By the way,
We're about to talk about your show.
Quiet as kept. No, quiet as kept. A lot of races that are not black teach their girls this. You have to marry for security.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why it's so wrong for black women to be taught that. Like, why is it so, like, we get just like nailed to a cross if we say, well, he doesn't bring anything to the table for me. Well, you just a gold digger. No. I have a table. I brought the table. I have everything I need.
With chairs.
With chairs and placemats and all. Now, if you can't come here and also add on the decor, then why are we here?
We can't be here. I'm good.
If you are not doing at least what I can do for myself, then why are we here? And for some reason, we push these women to marry for, but you need to stay down with him, because staying down with him is everything. Gucci Mane and Keisha Kayor always say that shit.
But usually the fools that are saying that are fools that are saying down in the jailhouse.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Stupid, ignorant. It's dumb.
He was in jail and he's like, oh, I married her. That was the other thing. He did an interview with Charlemagne and he was like, I knew she was the one whenever she held me down when I was in jail and she ain't go nowhere. He also claimed that he also knew she was the one before he went to jail. So why didn't you marry her then?
Right.
It's kind of what I asked Tank, and I just ran that Tank podcast earlier this week, or last week. If you knew, he said he knew Zena, his now wife, was the one from day one. And they still went through hell, broke up, did this, did that before he ever proposed.
But that has to happen. For me, I don't feel like I always tell people, I don't think there's a perfect relationship. I do feel like you have to go through the ups and downs, the struggles. And a lot of people are opposed to me saying this.
Not
but
struggles. No.
I listen, for me, I'm okay with going through certain struggles or certain ups and downs in a relationship, because for me, that builds a relationship, and that lets me know that
define struggle.
Let me see, a struggle in a relationship. Even just having a breakup situation to where you all actually break up and go your separate ways.
What did y'all break up over?
It wouldn't be infidelity. It would be probably something. We break up over foolish stuff sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, I just feel like with me, when I got into my relationship, it was too perfect for me for like 4 months straight. We had not had one argument. And I'm like, we need to argue. I need to have an argument. We need to have a disagreement.
No, I do agree with that. Have a disagreement. Maybe 4 months in is still kind of the honeymoon stage. But yeah, I do agree that there needs to be some type of friction so you know how to handle friction.
I want my honeymoon stage to stop at 2 months, a month and a half. I want to know what it is, because after 2 months, if I'm still in it, let's go the long way. Let's make it happen.
2 months.
Hell yeah. I'm too old for honeymoon stages, because at a point
2
to
months
where
is very short though.
Well, I'm going to it's 2 months in a relationship. We're going to communicate and stuff. That's all I need. That's all I need. Listen.
No, I do agree with there needs to be rocks that you run into, not a whole ravine, like it needs to not be. You should not be waking up treating this like a job where you hate going into the office. Like you hate going into your relationship and you hate seeing the person and you just trying to survive it just to get to the ring. Why are we here? Like, it's not that serious. No. If you have to do all of that, that ain't the person for you. Mm-mm. If you have to sit there and wait for them for Keisha Kayor waited for 10 plus years.
It's a long time.
Do you, boo? I guess it paid off for you in your terms of paying off. That wouldn't work for me.
I bet she had an aunt in the back of her ear said, "Girl, hold on to that's a good man. That's a good man. He only got 3 years left."
You'll be surprised how many people told me the same thing for the last 3 relationships, 2 of which ended because of one ended definitely because of infidelity. The other one, I found out about the infidelity after the fact, but I knew something was wrong. And you'll be surprised how many people are still pushing you to be like, girl, he is such good husband material though. Just stick it out.
So you wouldn't take someone back after if they cheated on you once?
I don't think, maybe you don't know. That's my deal breaker for many reasons.
Okay.
Not because of superficial. Do not call me immature. That's the other thing people love to call black women when they put up a standard. Mm-hmm. Oh, you just being immature. You got to be able to deal. No, I don't have to deal with anything.
No.
I don't have to. You decided to deal with that in your relationship, and now you put onus on that as being something powerful or something that you got through. I don't have to struggle if I don't want to. I can make my own money. I can be in this world. I have friends. I have family. I can go on dates if I want to.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a relationship if I don't want one. That's what y'all are missing. You know, for whatever reason.
People have that mindset that you need to be in a relationship, or you have to have
like you're not a
partner.
full person. It's like I never said I don't need a man or I don't want a man. That's not what I'm saying. I said I don't need a bad man. I don't need someone who's hindering my life. And I feel like with Tiny, it's really hard to watch. Bringing it back to Tiny and T.I. because she don't need the bullshit either. Yet she deals with it in our faces, in public.
But there's a lot of people who need that. It's almost like being codependent on something or someone or a relationship. It's almost like, what was that song years ago? I would rather have a piece of man than no man at all.
Oh, really?
That's
a song?
You've never heard that song before?
I probably tuned it out because it sounded so stupid.
Yeah, it's an old blues song where she says, I would rather have a piece of man than no man at all.
Maybe. But back then, that is what women were taught. You know, and that's exactly what's passed down. Like, and it irks me to this day. Every time I see somebody like going through abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, mental abuse, or physical abuse, and people saying, this is just a really rough time right now. You just have to be mature and stick it out. Since when is sticking out dealing with abuse maturity? Like, no, stop. And constant cheating, especially publicly, is a form of abuse.
It is.
Stop it. You don't need it. I'd rather be broke and living in a freaking cardboard box than be with the man that could, quote unquote, provide security while he's treating me like absolute shit as well. This is why love ain't enough, y'all.
Constant cheating.
This brings me to another relationship
that was
issue.
That was your deal breaker.
That was my deal breaker. And I'll tell you why. Not because of the infidelity itself, but because of two things. One, the trust factor. More than anything, you lied to me. I don't do liars. Lying is my other deal breaker. I don't like liars in my personal life, whether it's a family member or a friend. I do not lie. That's the one thing I can pride myself on. So if I'm never lying to you, how dare you lie to me and I have to deal with it? Especially for no reason. Like, lie to me for what? You know, like, what do you... If anything, you're just being selfish because that means you're lying to me in order to keep doing something that you know will not be good for me. So why would I be with someone who wants to treat me that way? I don't have any reason to be there. If I hated myself and thought that's all I could deal with, cool. Or that's all I could get, cool. But I don't think that. I'd rather be alone.
Oh.
The other part of it is the health factor. And there's a reason why STDs and everything else are skyrocketing these days. There's a reason. And to me, when you cheat, even if you're wearing a condom, and usually you're not, but even if you are, you're not wearing a condom if somebody go down on you or if somebody's sucking your thing, you know? So things can be transferred. Things can be transferred.
Not sucking your thing.
Sucking your thing.
Suck your thing.
Then I can't. I mean, I can only curse so much up in Samsung, y'all.
Because we done had a few cuss words.
I'm not gonna go there and be like, "Suck your dick." No. But if there's only so much protection you can have.
Yeah.
You thought it was okay to bring that back to me, and now you've put me and my health at stake. And to me, that's the ultimate problem. Gotcha. The one thing we have in life is our health.
Yeah.
And if the person that loves me, that I'm supposed to be giving my life to, and you're supposed to be giving your life to me, you put that in jeopardy intentionally just to get a nut, how much do you value me in my life? Why would I want to be in that relationship? So I look at it as a health factor, especially as a woman. Y'all can say what y'all want. Our bodies are a lot more finicky when it comes to things that go into a vagina.
Listen,
a lot more finicky.
I don't have an opinion about it.
But just saying this as just biologically, there's way more issues that can arise in a woman's genitalia than there are in a man's.
Yeah.
And also that present themselves more. There's certain viruses that can chill up in a man's body but never present themselves. For women, it could be a killer. Yep. And so people have to understand that we're equal, but our bodies and biologically are not equal. And there's certain things that affect us more. There's certain things that affect a man more. And we have to respect that. And I think that just tossing around my health because you want to go get a nut from homegirl down the street, and it probably wasn't good anyway.
Oh, you got that comeback?
I'm just saying it probably wasn't.
I'm talking about you.
It probably. I mean, it just probably wasn't. Just I guess sometimes like passionate, just random sex is good. But I mean, very like, then leave and go be with her. Then clearly it's not good enough for you to leave and go be with her. So no, that's my deal breaker. I'm over it. And watching Tiny just kind of promote that has a better life because she stayed there with him. It's gross to watch. You have daughters. I hate seeing it. But hey, girl, if it works for you. Guess she didn't want to listen to Mama Joyce.
I mean, Tiny really wasn't that cute years ago, though.
Stop.
I mean, she's grown into her looks.
I mean, Candy didn't listen to Mama Joyce either, so.
Ooh, shots fired.
No shots fired. I like Todd. I like Candy. But she didn't marry for security. She said that. She didn't.
Oh, she was sad. Candy's good.
Exactly. She didn't marry for security either. Maybe for her, well, she didn't marry for financial security. Maybe he was her security in a different way.
Yeah.
Either way, always marry a man that can give you something that you need, that for whatever reason you can't always do only for yourself. That'll be the only reason to get married, to join forces, not for somebody to take away from you. Mm-hmm. Like, if he ain't making your life better, child, why are you here?
Well, a little sneak peek this season with Todd and Candy. I'm ready to see what happens with that.
They about to have a new baby and that's it.
But she mentioned something to him about starting new jobs and not finishing one before.
He still got a job, don't he? It's all for TV. Whatever.
Good old Candy.
All right. So do we think that, speaking of relationships, do we think that Rihanna and Drake are back together? I mean, I have an emphatic no on my end, but people are saying this.
I mean, I'm with Rihanna and Drake getting back together, especially if Kanye West popping up at Drake's house with notes and shit. So
Drake had his 33rd birthday party last week, and everybody and their grandma was there, of course. It was like some mafia themed, whatever. And Rihanna popped up there.
When was the last time we seen them together? Like,
they weren't even together. We saw him leave and we saw her leave the club.
Okay.
They weren't leaving together, but she was clearly there at his birthday party.
Okay.
Which is, they messed around a little bit. I'm not friends with people that I messed around with in the past, but Rihanna is a whole different chick, and she definitely stays friends with people. So I'm not too shocked she was there. She does have a boyfriend, Hassan, who she talked about in her new Vogue cover article, who's a billionaire a billionaire heir. So his family is part of like Toyota and all these other things.
Correct.
I don't see her leaving Hassan for Drake, but I'm hearing and people are speculating that her and Hassan may have broken up. And I think that people think that if they just haven't seen them together in 5 days. And it's like, well, I mean, do you see who you're dating every single day? Yes. Especially if y'all are. No, I want to. Yeah, I love that. If I don't see you every day, I get very sad and things like that. But I get when you're two busy people that travel the world nonstop, there's very likely a chance you could go a week without seeing them. Like that's just how business works, you know? And she's all over the world. She's sometimes in London with him. She's back in Anguilla. She's here in the States, in LA and New York. Yeah. You know, she's all over the place. So if she went 5 days because she's traveling, promoting her umpteen $1 billion makeup line and music and everything else in her fashion lines, is that really that crazy she didn't see him for 5 days?
Well, I want Rihanna and Drake together. I'm with it.
Why?
I'm with it. I mean, I think it's a good. Listen, I think it's a great look. I'm with it. I like Drake. Drake's a homie. He's like the light-skinned homie that you wouldn't mind letting date your best female friend.
Yeah, I think that that's good in theory. I think that Drake probably does that with every woman, though. And that's my problem with Drake. I think he's like the ultimate boyfriend, but I think he's the ultimate boyfriend for everyone.
Oh. Yeah. You're a Drake fan like that?
No, I am, but I think he's for everybody.
Oh, I forgot. You all do send those photos of Drake.
Drake is fun.
In a bathroom.
Drake is zaddy. Let's not get it twisted. He is zaddy, but that's the problem. He knows he's zaddy, and he got.
But don't you want a man that knows that he's zaddy?
Yeah, but I don't want him telling every hoe he's zaddy.
Not the
not
after.
all of them. Not all of them. Like, no, he looks like the type that would sweep every chick off her feet.
I mean,
and
it's
have
Drake.
Every chick feeling like she's the one and only, and that's a scary ass dude. Can't be able to do it like that.
It's good old Drake.
I mean, I just want to test it one time. Okay, moving on.
Oh no, not one time.
I heard it's really good.
You just want to touch the hem of his garment. That's it.
I heard it's really good. I have a source.
Do you?
I have a D report.
Oh wow. So,
yeah.
Is this online?
No, the person related to me. Audio.
Okay.
Audible.
Well,
the
tell
D
the listeners.
report was bomb. Like, he is bomb in bed, and everything you would think Drake is, he's that.
I mean, but do females not think for a second that, like, maybe he was bomb with that one chick, and that he may not be on the level of? Because you're from New Orleans, Natasha.
No, I think that I've only heard it firsthand from one chick he's been with. But I've never heard anything bad about him. I will say that. Even secondhand, thirdhand about what he's done and who he did it with, never was a bad story.
I feel like you don't want Drake and Rihanna together because you want that one time.
No, I think that Rihanna needs no, I don't think Rihanna and Drake work at all.
You don't think so?
I think she works with Hassan for sure.
But why?
Goes
the
back
money,
to that security thing.
That money.
Security thing. I think that she doesn't need his money, but I think that as a woman, you always need an advocate, and you always need somebody you can learn from. You always need somebody on your level or more. Always. That's how it benefits you.
Yeah.
I think with Drake, yeah, he's, he can also offer amazing things, but I think he for everybody. Like, why does she have to deal with that?
In other words, he's community dick.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. And I don't think she needs to deal with that. I think she has her fun whenever she's single, and she has her fun, which is great. But I think Drake has his fun while he's not single.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Rihanna and Drake in a nice, good old
Graham, and I want to read a few comments. But let's discuss the Kanye West foolery with Kim Kardashian. I know I've been trying to put it off. I can't stand talking about Kanye. I cannot stand it. And now that he is promoting his new album, Jesus is King, basically he wants to say I am king. And
showing up at different HBCUs, including.
I mean, is Southern happening?
Allegedly.
It's this weekend?
This weekend.
Up? So, Halloween weekend. Well,
this
after
Sunday.
Halloween. So, okay. Kanye West has been on his world tour of bringing alleged Jesus songs to HBCUs and random places and spewing his Republican foolishness all over the place, as well as his love for Jesus Christ.
Over it. Fake prophet.
It's very much a fake prophet situation.
Such a fake
I think
prophet.
What annoys me more about this situation is not even Kanye, because I expect something as foolish as this from him. I don't expect people that I thought had common sense to buy it. I was like, y'all are Trump supporters. Y'all are literally who Trump supporters are. The person tells you that they ain't shit. They prove to you for several years they ain't shit. The moment they mention the word Jesus or something that makes sense one time, in general, makes sense, and says something that's more common sense than anything, y'all now have forgotten everything else that they said.
Everything.
And now he's a savior, and now we need to hop on the bandwagon and support Kanye West.
Over it.
This is how Trump got into office, because y'all never remember things that happened 5 minutes ago, let alone a year ago. And y'all always forgive when the person didn't even ask for forgiveness. And y'all always just forget. Now we have to praise him.
Mm-hmm. And the worst thing that I'm constantly hearing that I'm so aggravated and frustrated with is, who are we to question his path or his journey to God? What Kanye has done in the past and what he's doing now, that's not connected to my God that I know in my spiritual journey.
Not at all.
And I hate the fact that so many of our people are so welcoming with letting him in just because he didn't mention God or Jesus. Are you going to let Chrisette back in like this?
Nope.
No, they ain't letting Chrisette back in at all.
It's mind-boggling to me, because he's not only talking about Jesus in a very for-profit way, which people can even say the church is for profit, and I agree with that. I'm not down with the church. I've said that a million times. I'm here for Jesus.
And that's it.
And God.
Give me the word.
Right. I don't believe in the church, because it's too much politics when there shouldn't be any politics, and too much for profit foolishness.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly what Kanye is doing, for profit foolishness.
And I actually posed this question recently at my house. I asked someone, Because I think Kanye's getting ready to do more performances at different churches.
Yes.
For me, I always felt like the church was very political.
Yes.
There were so many different avenues you had to go through in order just to get on the stage at church. Are they going to make Kanye go through all of those same hoops and curves and everything to even perform at their churches? This is crazy. I hate this. I really dislike this. And this foolishness and this horrible ass album.
So what is your main issue with Kanye?
I don't think it's necessarily a main issue with Kanye. It's the fact that I dislike when someone throws on religion or a spiritual side or a spiritual awakening and you force it upon other people. I feel like he's forcing what he's going through and what's happening with him. I actually just had to go through this personally myself with someone that I knew personally who, quote unquote, has gone through a spiritual awakening. And the one argument, or a few arguments that we did have, but the one thing that I had to let my frat brother know is whatever journey you are on spiritually, it's not something that's connected with me. So however you do things from this point on, you do it the way that you want to do it. But you're not going to sit up there and, as the saying goes, piss on my shoe and tell me it's raining.
Well, Kanye also, I have several issues with Kanye. One of the things I really didn't appreciate that he did recently, and the fact that I'm even saying something in defense of Kim Kardashian should tell y'all
Shocking.
a lot, like a whole lot. On a recent episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, as by now you've already seen, or at least the clip, where they were discussing Kim's Met Gala outfit, and I guess this was the night before the Met Gala, and we all know what her outfit turned out to be. Basically, a painted on water. It's supposed to look like she was coming out of water. A painted on latex dress that with this corset that basically, if she tried to breathe hard, she would probably faint.
But y'all still mad at Lizzo.
Y'all still mad at Lizzo. And it had all of her exaggerated assets on full display. And she got worshipped for it. Okay. Now, right before she got dressed for this event, for the Met Gala, Kanye told her out of the blue, I guess, I just feel some kind of way about you dressing too sexy. I feel some kind of way every time I see the pictures of you looking too sexy. And, when you're wearing certain clothes and you're going to have to change up how we do this. Kim was like, I don't understand. You were the one that built me up to be this uber sexual icon. Like, he literally called her the Marilyn Monroe of our time.
Trophy wife for him.
He said that, right. He said, you're the Marilyn Monroe of our time. I disagree, but this is what he told her on national television. He said that he married her because of how sexy she is, because clearly, and I said this years ago, that he has a porn addiction. I said that years ago.
Did you?
Years ago, and got dragged for it.
Kirk Franklin had the same situation as well.
Yeah. It was clear that he did, because he clearly was being with women, or wanted to be with women that exuded sex, and he wanted to make them out to be sex dolls. Every woman he was with, most women he was with, that's the vision, that's the feel and the vibe that those women gave off. Is it a bad vibe or a bad thing? No. But if that's the only reason why you're with them, then that's the only reason why you're with them. Keep it 100.
Yeah.
But then you can't change your mind after you get with them for that reason. After you sit there and put her on a pedestal, telling Michelle Obama she needs to take advice from your wife on doing butt selfies, then how all of a sudden now she got to be covered up for Jesus?
And this is the same person that people are following behind.
That's my point. Like, I will never forget that. I will never understand that. I think that this is 100% a publicity stunt. He's only going to do secular music with no curse words until the next album. Every time he has an album, y'all haven't figured this out yet?
It's something new. It's always a niche. It's always a story. Always.
Every single time. And it's right before an album comes out. Y'all have not figured out the pattern yet. How have you not figured it out? It's been beyond obvious. And y'all keep falling for it every single time.
Constantly.
And now y'all are saying, well, now we need to re-embrace Kanye because now he done found Jesus. He never lost Jesus.
No.
He just is using this now as a publicity tool.
I don't think he ever had him, if you ask me.
Maybe that too. But nothing's changed other than his ability to use this as a publicity stunt and publicity tool, and to use his own wife and family for the same thing, because that's what he married them for.
Yeah. Image.
Is for he claims he hates publicity. He even said, I hate social media. It's ruining our families. How on earth? Then, okay, you married a woman who basically invented what social media is now.
Basically.
And you did that on purpose. You knew what she was.
That's her claim to fame.
You knew what she was. And you're only getting all this publicity as well because of the things that she's allowing. Like, she used to post everything that you did. So people stopped fucking with you for a while, and then was like, oh, well, Kim posted about this. Kim posted about that. We didn't know what you were doing because you weren't even on Twitter and Instagram yet. You used her machine, the machine that you claim to hate, to get out all the things that you wanted to get out.
Have you found it that it's kind of weird that there's so many people, there's a number of people in my circle who are actually kind of supporting Kanye.
I know a lot of people who are.
And I'm really disappointed in that.
I think that, one, men are always going to support men, period, point blank.
Most of them have been women.
And women, when it comes to women, that's internalized misogyny as well. It's always going to be the case. They're always going to find, and don't let it be a church situation. I've seen so many quote unquote church folks. Well, we can't turn our back on somebody that found the Lord. When did he lose the Lord?
You know what someone said? That he is such a great genius.
Yeah.
That we can't turn our back on right now because of everything that he's done in music.
People said the same thing about Hitler, said the same thing about Trump. I refuse.
R. Kelly.
Right. I'm not doing that. No, I don't fall for the okie doke. I see straight through it. I have for umpteen years now, and got dragged for absolute filth for saying the things that he's saying about himself now.
Have you had a chance to listen to any of the music?
No, I'm good. I have no reason. Why? Why would I? I don't want to contribute in any fashion. This is all a publicity stunt. It's all bullshit. I never said he wasn't talented. Black women are who made his fucking career from day one. So no, I've loved Kanye since day one. Yeah. Before mainstream liked him. Okay. So it's not about, oh, I don't think he's talented or the ability. A talented person can make any song good. So I don't think that it's going to be a matter of I'm going to hate the music. I do not support the person to the point because I feel like they're now suppressing black women like me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're using the black church and using our black youth and using black women. You married a woman who literally tried to create herself to look like us, and you put her on a pedestal for doing so. Yeah. And then you said Michelle Obama needs to take notes from her. And now all of a sudden it's a problem that she's a sex pot. The reason why you married her.
And I'm really disappointed on the HBCUs that are allowing him.
I'm so disgusted. But campus. I was also disgusted with the HBCUs when they joined Trump's fake ass what was it, the education, the HBCU help board, whatever that he created for them, and he did nothing for them.
I don't think Southern was on that.
It was several HBCU presidents, and everybody was looking at them like, okay, fall for it if you want. What did he end up giving y'all? Zero.
Absolutely
zilch.
Nothing. He actually wants to take funding away from HBCUs.
But he surely took all the pictures and surely posted all the pictures and video on his Twitter, on his Instagram, just to show, look, I like black people. And it made his dumbass supporters even more like empowered to say, oh, of course he's not a racist. So now I can really like him openly. All y'all did was give him ammunition to do what he's doing now. And y'all are doing it once again. Y'all are falling for the okie doke for the 200th time. And in some ways, I don't even blame Kanye. Why? I mean, if y'all gonna keep falling for it.
Shit, if you don't make the money, make the money.
And he's out here selling $300 socks that say Jesus, and y'all over here buying it. Like, why not?
Someone told me the other day, I had on an outfit. Someone said, you need to have a pair of Yeezys on with that.
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm great, actually.
And he's good.
He's good. He's great.
People are so weird. I don't understand. But really what got me is the whole policing a woman's body and policing what she can and can't do. Now, Kim was sexy before Kanye entered the picture. That's why he wanted her. Has it upped up a notch or two? Yes. Especially when he put her in his video. What video was that? Where they simulated sex, basically. And she's riding on a bike in front of him, and it looks like she's riding him. I mean, y'all, this is what y'all do. You married a girl who openly and intentionally made money off of a sex tape. This is what y'all do. And that's fine. But now you can't all of a sudden be like, I need you to not do that no more. What's she going to do? What else she going to do?
Do you think it would get that it's a possibility that Kanye's religious path, his spiritual path would be so strong that they actually may divorce?
I think the only reason, and I said this years ago as well, the only reason why Kim would ever leave him is if he actively and obviously, to the point where they could track it, started to diminish her brand. Yeah. Which means either she started making less money directly because of him, or started getting less popular directly because of him. They're both narcissists. They feed off of each other. As long as they keep growing based off of the foolish narcissism things that they're doing, they're going to stay together. But the moment that it affects her negatively, not just like somebody talking shit, like people talk shit about her forever, but it always ended up in being a profitable thing.
Right.
The moment it stops being profitable, she's out.
And I think that's going to be an issue now, because if you think about it, Kim wears nothing but sexy dresses. So if your husband, Kanye, is going to be outspoken about the way that you dress, designers are not going to want to.
And she only has those designers because of Kanye. She only got Vogue because of Kanye.
Because of Kanye.
And that's what I mean. So the moment she starts losing the reasons why she married him, again, it goes back to marrying in your best interest and security. She could not get on. She could do everything else, but she couldn't get on Vogue. And she couldn't get basically to become ace boom cool with all these designers. They never gave her the respect until she married Kanye. So that's what she married him for. Again, that was smart.
She probably got what she wanted. Now she's good.
Yeah. And that's all women should do that. Get what you need to get. I mean, of course, love the person, but don't marry them unless they can give you something you can't give yourself. So that's what she did. So the moment he can't give her that anymore, she's out. And she should be.
I think it's about time. It's about time. I mean, Kanye is really going through a spiritual, like, if it's an awakening, but it's a spiritual battle. For me, it's what I consider it. But I just dislike fake prophets when it comes down to.
It drives me nuts.
It's horrible. And we're so quick to hop on the bandwagon of a fake prophet. Have we not learned from some of these fake prophets in the past?
I hate the fact I'm even talking about it on this. Like, I hate giving it life. I hate talking about it, but it's kind of like that thing with Trump. Just because you don't talk about it does not mean it just doesn't happen and it just goes away. Sometimes you have to speak truth to power in order to diminish the foolishness and diminish the foolish effects that they can have.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that when he went to Howard Homecoming and spewed all the Republican praise and all those things. From what I heard, the actual students were not here for it. Most people that were there on the yard when he was there doing his Sunday service were not students. It was his 50,000 person choir and the people he hires to be there with his camera crew and all that. So it makes it look like it's the students this and students that. No, it was a lot of locals that just popped up, and it wasn't necessarily the students. So I do appreciate that they are smarter than people might assume they would be. I don't think that they fell for it, but it's only so much time. If somebody keeps dangling something in your face, like, look, you could be famous as long as you follow me. I mean, it could happen, you know? So shout out to the Howard students that didn't fall for the okie doke, but I am very scared for who will.
Southern better not. Southern University better not.
We're going to find out on Sunday.
We're going to find out on Sunday.
And these presidents, Trump didn't like your ass to begin with, and y'all fell for it then. Why are you falling for the same thing with Kanye? Why are you allowing this man to come on there to talk about, I love Trump, you need to vote for Trump? Why are you allowing it?
I would love to get footage of the students that are opposed to this.
Anyway. Okay, so before we close out, we're going to start our new segment.
What's the new segment?
The new segment is shit that you should be watching, but you're not.
Okay. I'm with it.
So this segment is all about, like, I mean, we all know I love TV. I love movies. So does James. So does everybody around me. And we watch everything. But that means I come across things that I know certain black folks ain't watching. And I'm like, but you should be, though. Like, it's not something that you would find on your guide and be like, oh, let me record that. It's not something that you would go on Netflix and hit my queue. You just wouldn't. But I'm telling you now that you should. Okay? I've taken the work out of finding new stuff.
I'm ready to hear this list.
That you might think, okay, so every week we're going to do a new one. I'm not gonna do a full list.
Okay.
I mean, I have tons, but every week I'm going to add another one.
Okay.
Some weeks I might do two. I might be feeling frisky. And I might do two.
So are these shows on television,
everywhere.
Netflix,
It's
Hulu,
different places,
different platforms?
We all got all different platforms these days.
Yeah.
You know what? F it. Today I'm gonna do two.
Do two. Okay.
Because it's Halloween. I'm going to give you one very scary flick, and then I'm going to give you one show that you should be binge watching. Now, again, these are not shows that the typical black person would be just drawn to off rip, like when they see a promo.
And it would be you to bring that.
I know, right? When they see a promo or when they see it in the guide, 9 times out of 10, the typical black person will scan right by it.
Okay.
Like they're not gonna.
It's one of those shows.
But I'm telling you, because I did the work and watched it, I'm telling you this will benefit your life, and you just need to go see it. Okay? There are some black people catching on to these shows, though. All right. So the first one, we're gonna start with the Halloween one. I don't know if y'all. Okay, so in my bedroom, I refuse to have like an actual cable box because I don't really believe in having TVs in the bedroom. It really messed up my sleep last time I did that. But this year, like when I moved to my new place, I needed a TV in my bedroom. Some days you just want to lay in bed and watch TV.
And just chill. Don't want to move.
So my compromise was not having cable, like a cable box in there where I could like watch live TV and all that stuff. My compromise is only using like the smart stuff. So that means I have, like Fire Stick and all that stuff and Chromecast and all that in there. And I have a smart TV. So I can technically, at this point,
watch
a year and a half later, it's basically the same thing.
Basically.
You can basically see everything. But I really like the fact that I can just, turn on Netflix, turn on Chromecast. I can really live stream live TV from apps if I need to. It's really sad. But I like laying in bed and watching certain things. What I discovered was this app on Fire Stick, and it's called Shudder. It's also just an app on regular smart TVs and stuff.
Okay.
So Shudder is a streaming service, and now there's tons of them popping up where you pay a monthly, fee, whatever. Shudder's only, I think, $5.99. That's why I wasn't gonna try it. I was like, I don't need to buy another streaming service. However, I love scary movies, and I've gone through all the scary movies on Netflix, all of them on Fear, on Chill Network, all the free ones, or all the ones I've already bought. I need something new. So I saw the Shudder Network, and I looked at the preview. I'm like, oh, these look like movies I ain't never seen. These are original movies? Wait a minute now. So at best, I was like, these are going to be like those stupid, like D-list, stuff that just couldn't make it to theaters or couldn't even make it to Redbox, honey. Like,
not
they
a
just gonna put it
Redbox.
on Shudder. Yeah, so I was like, I ain't buying that, whatever. Then it clicked to me where I heard Shudder before, and I feel like you're already scared.
I mean, listen, I don't do well with horror movies. I promise you, like Candyman still scares me right now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, Candyman was scary. Okay, so I knew the word Shudder or the app Shudder because they came out with this huge documentary that's called Horror Noir.
Okay.
And it made like mainstream news, and I think they had an event, and I remember looking at it like, what's Horror Noir? And come to find out, it's about the history and now of black horror films. So that's kind of how they got put on the map, is with people knowing who they are, is by them following what black horror films, how they started and who they are now, and just how they've developed over the years. And then I was like, oh, I already wanted to get wherever it was that this black horror film documentary was.
Yeah.
Already wanted to get that app.
I didn't even know there were that many black horror films.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I could thank my mom for this because she loves horror films as well. So she has like all the old black and white movies, and like I watched Freddy Krueger when I was really little, like because she loves horror films. And so that's why I think they don't really faze me, even though Freddy Krueger did faze me at like 8 years old. But it's now I like the beauty of it. Like I just love watching it.
That wasn't a work of the Lord in our house. So.
So no, my mom's like the biggest Christian. Like she's the first lady of a church.
Oh. And she likes horror
movies.
I know.
My stepdad's now a minister. So, yeah, she does. She loves horror movies. So, anyway, I was going to get whatever the network is anyway because I want to see that documentary. So, come to find out, it's Shudder. Then I was like, oh, I don't need to spend no more money at all. But with this free trial, I got my entire life.
Ain't nothing like a free trial.
And I figured it out. Yes. So I saw that, I'm just flipping through because it looks kind of like Netflix. You can add to my queue. You can remove stuff.
Gotcha.
You can, get previews of things. And I saw this preview for something called Haunt. And I was like, it was just made, 2019. I didn't think it was I thought it was going to be just a cheesy slasher movie, the typical cheesy slasher movie. I mean, it's on Shudder.
Something that you would see on like a indie channel.
Yeah, I mean, if it was good, then it would be in theaters, right?
Gotcha.
So that's what I was thinking. So I was like, well, let me just go ahead and watch this. I'm working anyway. I just need something in the background. I'm in the mood for a horror movie. Hunty. I am still shook. This is 2 days later. I am like scared. Just like walking down the street. Even after that, I went to go get food the next day and jumped out of my pants almost because somebody walked around my car. And like, I mean, I'm just like on edge. And this movie was so triggering.
So what's the synopsis of it?
Okay, so here's the thing. It's called Haunt because it's about a haunted house trip. So this group of college friends decide on Halloween night that they want to do something fun. Like they went to a party first and the party was lame. They're like, no, let's go do something. It wasn't super enough. Fun. So thanks to Yelp. They find a haunted house like way off, in the woods or something. Oh, this is based in Chicago, by the way. So that's another movie. They pulled from a lot of classic movies. To me, they pulled from Halloween for that. Because Halloween is based in, the boonies of Illinois. So this is also in the boonies of Illinois. So they drive into like this field and like this random country part. Outside of Chicago, Illinois is very rural and very like country. Yeah. So that's why they were driving for like an hour in the woods and in,
were they probably America. In an old van?
Yes, they were in an old van.
Oh, I hate it.
They were definitely in an old van. They were in the dude's, he drives for Uber and
he probably got the
turned on the Uber because he was like, this is a long drive. Y'all gonna pay me for this. So he turned it on and his friend took it and threw it out the window because he's like, absolutely not. But that helped him later on. So yeah, he has a big like van. And so they pull up, they hop out the van like the Scooby-Doo machine, and they see like two people standing in line, and like dressed up like kids like them. So they were like, okay, I mean, I guess it's legit. Other people are here. And they get out and they go up to the thing, and it's scary as hell from the moment they walk up to go talk to this clown to let them get into the haunted house. They had to check in their phones. They had to sign release forms, which we've all done.
Oh, really? I've never attended.
Release form.
Okay, yeah, I won't ever attend. Won't ever attend.
Oh yeah, I've done that. And to me, it was the coming true of everything that you would think would happen in a really crazy haunted house. So I've been in some crazy haunted houses. We went to Sheriff Fody's back in New Orleans all the time, with the prison inmates running the freaking haunted house. They created it and ran it. Yeah. So I've been to some things.
That's New Orleans tradition.
Right. And also like right outside of Chicago, they have these really big haunted houses in the woods. And we used to take a family trip every Halloween, like during Halloween week or something, to go as a family to this. And the line would be like 3 hours long.
I can't.
Yeah, it's like really fun. And you just stand there, you eat snacks and drinks, and you just get scared out of your mind while you're walking through. Some haunted houses, they're allowed to touch you. Some they're not. So that's why you have to sign a release form.
So my question is, how many black characters are on this?
This is why I like this movie, because surprisingly, there was one unambiguously black girl, and she actually had a pretty decent role. Like, it was pretty good.
So
don't do it.
I shouldn't ask my next question.
Don't do it. Just watch the movie. I'm not telling you who dies and who lives. Just watch the movie.
Did she die in the first 10 minutes from tripping over air?
She did not.
Running through an empty.
So this is also why I love the movie, is because it was not the typical dumb moves that these people make. Like when they're like running. Have y'all seen that commercial?
That Geico commercial. Let's go hide behind the knives and.
Yes. Like, really? Why can't we go into the running car? Yeah, so it was not like that. These characters are actually really smart and actually really saved their own lives several times. But when you're like in an encapsulated place and you're a captive audience, you can only do so much when they're hunting you. Like, it's literally like hunting you like prey. These are psychopaths that decide to create a haunted house to really actually kill people in it. So the people that went before them, I don't think they knew. I don't want to give away the whole thing, but I don't think they knew. But yes, those are real people that went before them, but they might not have made it out either, honey. So There's that. And it's in the middle of nowhere, so who gonna find it? So it's really, really good. It's been a very long time since I've seen a horror movie that actually nailed it and actually had me scared, super, super anxious. I think it's because I really think that stuff like that can happen.
Hell yeah.
And they actually were making the right moves and still getting slaughtered. So it was like, oh, God, like I couldn't stop watching. I had to cut it off.
I can't.
And go do dishes because I was triggered. Like I was just scared in my home. My dog was looking at me crazy. Everything was crazy.
See, this makes me just want to download the app just to watch the first 5 minutes.
I know.
And say I watched it because I know I'm not going to make it through the entire film.
I was jittery the first 5 minutes. It was very jumpy. It's a very, very jumpy movie. And then the only thing I didn't like was the end because the end was very... Y'all could have kept that last scene or redid that last scene. That made zero sense. It was completely unrealistic. It was dumb. How did y'all mess up this movie with that one last scene? But I love the fact that it was good actors. Mm-hmm. One of the actresses, the lead actress, is actually on The Bold Type, which is my other favorite show on CW. No, not CW. No, ABC Family. That's what it's on. And she's really good and, you know, a black girl character. And it was cute. It was good. And I read the reviews because I'm like, it can't just be me who thought that this was really good. Like, actually better than every horror movie in theaters except for It. So I'm shocked that it's not in theaters. And everybody said the same thing. It got 5 skulls. That's how they rate.
Oh,
on Shudder. And everybody's talking about it. Everybody's reviewing it. I think this might be one of like their hit things that breaks out Shudder like into, you know, the new It app. And one of the girls on the comments was like, my anxiety was triggered the entire time. I'm like, oh my God, it wasn't just me. So if you're like me and you love horror movies and you're tired of these stupid horror movies that are just... You just laugh at them, really. It was kind of scary, though.
Okay, well, if you're like...
If you're just laughing at them, like, this is the one, hunty.
I just can't. I don't know. Just growing up, just being attached to the church, it was like, you ain't bringing that in this house. Like,
I mean, there are some that I still, to this day... second guess watching because I like stuff like Poltergeist. Mm-hmm. I believe in stuff like that. Like I believe that's real. So it's kind of hard for me to watch. And even Poltergeist had stuff happening in real life on the scene.
Didn't something happen with like the entire cast? There was only one that
somebody died and
a bunch of them died. I think there was only one living character from Poltergeist. And
no,
that was,
while they were filming, I'm saying somebody was killed. Like stuff like that. In like Final Destination, I believe in that kind of stuff.
Final Destination,
so it freaks me out because I'm like, no, I don't even want to put that in my aura. But something like this, it's a haunted house. You go to haunted houses with your friends, and then I didn't expect for this to happen. So it was every piece of blood and gore and horror that you would want. There you go.
I'm gonna be honest. This is the reason why I don't walk outside of New York on Halloween. I just don't. I'm not. Yes. I have yet to. New York on Halloween in 9 years, I have yet to be comfortable with walking past someone with a mask on in New York
on Halloween is very interesting, and I don't know how cops do it because it's really hard to distinguish the fuckery that is happening between that and like real life issues that are happening. Like, how do you know? Because people are on the creativity pops all the way out, and people get like the real life Joker. I felt like even last year I saw like the real life Joker. Like it was too much happening.
It's way too much.
Like the people were trying to play like the Purge, and it's like,
I'm not for it. Not for it.
Not in New York. Nope, because that could really happen. They dress like to the T like the characters. So I don't know how cops can distinguish, but there's that. Okay. The other show that I want to tell y'all about, that was a movie. This is going to be a show. It's on Paramount Network. So if you have cable, then you can get it, or you could just subscribe to Paramount, which I wouldn't suggest. Just get a bootleg, child. Log into somebody's account. Okay, so Paramount is basically like the male-driven, the male-focused network. It used to be Spike TV. So that's a channel that I usually skip over, but because there's really nothing on it that I would like. But once, as usual, I'm just playing around, looking through the guide, and I see this show pop up, and I just left it on because I was enthralled from the first seconds that it was on my TV. Now, I don't know what season this is or what episode this is or anything like that, but I'm like, what is this? But it's some family that is just super rich and powerful, and they're doing the absolute most. Oh, and this daughter is doing the absolute most. What is happening? And she's smashing the ranch hand child. What is going on?
The fact that you're really here clutching your pearls.
Yeah, I was shocked at this movie. Okay, I don't do cowboy movies. I don't do westerns, so I really was not even trying to see this. But then I noticed that like they were weaving in all the drama of like Native American Indian reservations, as well as like the power of government. And I still don't know if this is Wyoming or Montana. I can't remember which one. I'm going to have to Google it. Either way, both of those states have like Indian reserves and Native American reserves. And it's a lot of controversy in real life around that, around like the things that happen on those reserves, and the fact that federal government and state police cannot step foot on their property at all due to just agreements and just the way it is. Like that was one of the things that Native Americans demanded, is that they had their own solitary land that they had sovereignty over. Yeah. And
they can control.
That quote unquote America couldn't step over and deal with. So it's a good thing, because it's like, well, shout out to y'all. Shoot, we trying to get reparations over here. So shout out to y'all for having something, for having things taken from you. But then it's a bad thing, because statistically, there's a lot of rape and assault that happens on these reserves, because I mean, who's going to check them? Who's going to say anything? If you call the police, they only have their own police, their own regulators that can operate there.
And there's only so much that the federal government can do.
They can't really do anything. So it's sad, because a lot of these things go unchecked and unnoticed, because the federal government can't get involved. And so of course they're not going to. Most of those people are men that are in those positions of authority on the reserves. So they're on the reservation. So they're not going to check other men, unfortunately. So a lot of rape and assault goes very much unchecked, and it's sad. And you see a lot of it in this movie too. You see the politics of that. And you see that one of the prodigal son left this established, amazing family to marry a Native American woman, and so they had to go live on the plantation. Oh God!
Oh Jesus!
Do not come for me. On the reservation, because they didn't. She didn't want to live off of the reservation. She doesn't really trust white people in mainstream. She just doesn't. A lot of them don't. And his family was like, we don't. I mean, they ended up having a baby together, and the white people with the Indian reservation, it just is a big
shit show.
Yes, and it's a lot going on, and they don't mesh well because of the politics behind it, but they have a love story and they want to keep that. So you see throughout this series him trying to return home, which is down the street, and trying to rejoin the family, because they're always trying to get their land taken. They're always getting their land taken from them and power exerted over them. But the head of the family, played by Kevin Costner, is gangster. Like this is the most gangster cowboy I've ever seen in my life. It's insane.
See, but I think that's a reason why a lot of older men like Western movies.
That's true.
Because it was always gangster. It was hard. It was like
it gives you that feel of like, now I see why my grandfather, like, this was his favorite genre. Like he stayed watching stuff like this. So I see it, and I also see that the story of there's two black cowboys involved, and I really appreciate that they basically give that story of how two black cowboys came to be, and we get to see how black cowboys play into the whole cowboy and ranch system. And just so y'all know, the whole premise of the show is a rancher family who is super rich and we thought they were super rich, and controls a lot of land and a lot of power in their state and cities. And it's almost like, if you think of it like Pepperidge Farms meets Succession, like it's this super powerful family that affects the whole country in a lot of ways. And they're just doing a lot of low down underbelly type stuff to keep their land where it is. That means they have to fight the Indian reservation. They got to fight the cops. They got to fight the politicians, and they got to fight each other.
Do we need to call Ava for this? Because this sounds like the white version of Queen Sugar. It's the white version of Queen Sugar
all day. With two black people thrown in, and I love it. I don't care. I love it. It's really interesting, guys. Like, I love it so much.
See, shows like that, I want to start watching after like third season.
This is going in the third season.
Because when I binge watch it, I want to be able to like just watch a lot of episodes. Like right now, I'm binge watching Blacklist.
Oh, okay. From back in the day?
Well, it's now season 6 they're in right now,
I thought
but
that show was off.
It's still on. Nathaniel had a role in it. That's why I started watching it recently. Nathaniel.
Oh, okay.
Had a role in it, so I started watching it recently. So yeah, we're on season 2 now.
Oh, okay.
Season 1 had 22 episodes. Oh, Lord. So yeah, so I'm with binge watching. So the 2 shows are
the 2 shows for shit you should be watching, but you're not.
Shit you should be watching
is Haunt on Shudder Network, which is an app, and also Yellowstone, which is a series on Paramount Network. So one, you got to buy the app, but really you could just do the free trial. The other one comes with your cable package on Paramount. If you
check that out. I've seen that particular show.
People are starting to find out. Like when I watched it, I was like, nope, I've never heard anybody talk about this. Now it's like their number 1 show on Paramount because it got so much traction. It's really good, guys. Like really interesting. The power dynamics, the family dynamics, the history dynamic, and the black storyline I appreciate. Oh, and the sex, it's a lot.
See, if you go back and watch some of the cowboy movies that came out when we were coming up, there was a lot of sex and nasty, raunchy sex.
I'm shocked at it all. And so there's that. And Beth, the daughter, she needs every Emmy award. Just nominate her for everything because she is killing this role. I found out she's British. I'm shocked by it all. I watched all the interviews after each episode. So Yellowstone as well as Haunt, get it in your life. I understand it's a lot of white folk. I know. But trust me, as a black person, you still gonna like it. Okay.
So before we wrap it up, I just have one question since we're talking about shows.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see Tyler Perry's new shows on BET?
No.
Okay. I mean,
I heard it was okay. I think that either you like shows like that look like a play and act like a play, or you don't. It's very much a certain audience, and I don't think I'm that audience.
It didn't give me play. I just wasn't a fan of the show.
What's the show with Robin Givens?
Robin Givens?
The new show. It's on OWN. Ambitions. That's my extent of like over the top yet not enough type show. It's really good though, and it's very it's very, like telenovela. It's very telenovela.
Gotcha.
That's my extent of that. I feel like Tyler Perry's goes one step past that, and I'm just not interested.
For me, it was just a little too much because I was expecting Girlfriends, kind of, sort of. I mean, not necessarily that whole theme, but no, on Sisters, his new show.
Oh, Sisters. Yeah.
That's that show. But it was every sister was problematic. Had a situation. This one girl, one of the characters, she wakes up. It's her birthday. Finished having sex. He walks into the bathroom. He changes. He comes back out, and his phone rings. And the first thing she says is that her calling you?
Oh God.
This is like opening scene, so you're sleeping with someone who's married. How
Ambitions was too.
So it's just a lot for me. And the Oval, the fighting scene for me,
the interracial first family, and nobody says that they're interracial. It's
but that opening, the opening scene was a fight. Like
yeah.
It was just a lot.
I don't think it's my forte, but I did hear it was good. So
did
congrats to him. I heard mixed reviews. Some people, I think it's the fans of that type of show that think it's good. They also love have and have nots, like that type of crowd.
See, I like the have and have nots.
Yeah, no, I tried many times. I can't. I love Tico to death, but I can't with that show.
I like the have and have nots.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews. Some people said it's really good. Some people are like, oh no. But congrats to Tyler, I guess. I did see First Wives Club, the first episode on BET Plus.
How was that? Was it good?
So I'm not going to buy a whole new network, another streaming service. I can't do this anymore.
I don't get it.
And plus I heard theirs was like $15, child. But they did put the first episode out for free for First Wives Club, and it was really good.
Okay.
It was.
Jill is in there.
Yeah. Jill, Ryan, Michelle Baith, and the comedian woman, she's Latina. I can't remember her name. Or no, I don't know if she's Latina or mixed.
She just had a baby recently. Lives in Brooklyn. She actually lives in my neighborhood.
She's really funny.
She is.
So that's that. So next week, I mean, I have tons of shows and movies I can tell y'all about that my friends look at me sideways when I try to talk to. So I'm just going to talk to y'all about them. How about that?
I'm with sideways shows.
No, my friends be like, Natasha, get off. No.
I mean, because sometimes you want something like, say, for instance, Schmitt's Creek.
Yes.
Love it.
I love Schitt's Creek.
Is it Schitt's Creek?
Uh-huh.
It's not Schmitt's Creek?
Schitt's
Creek? Schitt's Creek?
Yeah.
Schitt's Creek. It's one of my favorite shows. I like that.
I only watched it because it comes on after Younger, and I love Younger.
Oh, see, I stayed away from that.
Younger's so good.
Didn't it come on like
white show, I know.
UPN or something?
CW.
CW, same difference. Ain't that big of a difference.
Anyway. So yeah, that's it, guys. Don't forget for this week of Speak On It. For the upcoming Speak On It, we're going to be posting on Instagram at the YBF podcast, what topics we're going to be wanting you to chime in on so we could have another perspective. I'm just going to read a few of, we asked people to speak on it about the Kanye and Kim mess. Oh God, y'all went off. Like all the way off.
You can give people a platform.
So you can either chime in on at the YBF_daily, our main account, or at the YBF podcast. Just send a DM, comment on a picture, something. Just talk your shit on our pages and we'll read off what we see. So when we talked about Kanye West revealing that God has delivered him from his sex and porn addiction and he's, mad about Kim dressing too sexy, this is some of the things people said. Mad_bananas says, Black Twitter is why you became Ye. He has become irrelevant to us. Let him sink. I don't care about him or his music anymore. He is playing with God to make money like all the other preachers. Oof.
Cleflo Dollar.
Right. And then other people, someone else chimed in saying, because he also talked about, social media being BS and a problem. Detroit to Dallas says, I suffer. She was quoting Kanye West when he said, I suffer and I appreciate the suffering because we can feel a little bit of what Jesus experienced, but I suffer on social media. She says, suffering on social media or any reference he makes to suffering is no comparison to the suffering the Christ endured while he walked the earth or on the cross. How dare he compare himself to the King of Kings? King of Kings. Miss T. Abdul 0183 says, God delivered you from your porn addiction, then back into the clutches of that demonic black man destroying family.
Oh, no.
It's interesting how this sunken place Sambo's mind works.
Black people are harsh. Jesus.
I was trying to find something nice that people said about him.
No one's going to say anything nice. No one's smart.
Oh, I don't see nothing. He also said he doesn't care about what Black Twitter has to say about him.
I'm sure.
So this person, HAHB Habebtee, so HAHBEBTEE, they say, if Kanye didn't care what black people thought, WTF, what the fuck, does he go to all these areas that are predominantly black to get support for the upstart of his cult? And those fickle-minded, mediocre black people will read here what he thinks about them and still support his narcissistic lunatics.
Like
Lunacy
fools.
is what they meant. Kanye knows that if it was up to white people, he would be finished. The young black youth, black Hollywood, and athletes are what kept him relevant to date. Other people were saying, read about Jim Jones. This is the religious leader, not the religious leader, not the rapper, because he's acting just like Kanye. He was acting just like Kanye. Someone else said, but he married a porn star.
I mean, I just felt like Kanye is really over the cliff when he mentioned about dropping notes off at Drake's house. That was so uncomfortable.
Ugh. Like why? Drake is over you, especially after that Pusha T drama. He's over you. And here's one of the last comments. Okay, finally I found one in support of him. Vibrant_thang1020 says, why should he give a damn about what anybody says regarding his feelings about his wife? Just because he entered a relationship with a mindset doesn't mean he should be bound to it. Let that man grow. He's just figuring things out just like the rest of us. Girl, bye. But we appreciate it, Vibrant Thing. All right, guys.
I hate people.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all them things. Whatever podcast network you listening to. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Get on it.
Follow us at the YBF Podcast on Instagram and at the YBF_daily on Instagram. And as always, visit theyBF.com for any and all celebrity news stories. It's so much going on. I got to get back to it.
And the YBFU, I'm excited about this weekend.
Yes, James is going to be back in his favorite place, Southern
University. Southern University homecoming.
And hashtag YBFU
will be
in the place. So if you see James, you're going to have a mic with you? Because you need some kind of identifying factor.
I'm going to have a mic with me.
Okay. So if you see the mic with the YBF logo on it, run up to him and talk. I think last year is when we had like 1 million people trying to like talk to. Was it last year or the year before?
It was a year before. It was huge.
And people were going in. Like, they were like, oh shit, YBF, yes. Like acting a plumb fool when he came to them with the camera. So yes, when you on the yard at Southern this weekend for homecoming, come up to us.
Listen, Morehouse's had their homecoming. Spelman's had theirs. We've let A&T have theirs this weekend. Now it's the best homecoming that's going to happen.
Y'all best. Have fun. Don't allow Kanye on the yard.
Oh Lord, please. Hopefully Kanye won't be there.
No, whatever. All right. Thank y'all for listening. As always, thanks for tuning in. See you soon. Don't forget to speak on it. See you soon, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That was like the longest time we've ever done.
That was.
And I'm just hoping that they didn't cut it off.
No.